It really does. It seems like we were here like 5 minutes ago.
We were.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Where'd he go? Jay Thomas.
All right, I got it. There you go. I'm all ready. For those of you that are wondering where I broadcast from, thank you. It's a nice office, 3-room office, and I have this studio glassed in right here, and then I have a desk and an office out in front. And I wanted, I'm having.
Was that your receptionist?
I have all sorts of troubles here.
Jay Thomas.
You know, the
Jay
computer's
Thomas,
breaking, the board is shorting out, the ISDN is acting weird. But anyway, and then I left the office, an office open in the front, and my wife, who's a, jewelry designer, does all this stuff. I said, why don't you, instead of working at home, you'd be just in the next office. No. No. I've been here for 8 years or something. No.
Do you want her to pay rent?
No, nobody pays for anything in my house except for me. But then the other day she said she might come down. She says my office isn't conducive to creativity. That's what she said.
Well, I've seen her workspace, and it is very conducive to creativity, so I can understand what she's saying.
And mine looks like a bachelor pad with. I have VHSs that are 30 years old.
It looks like a crack house, Jay.
No. It's just kind of, it's rough around the edges.
Yes, it is.
I was on some shows. Let's say the longest show I was ever on was Love and War, which was 3 years, and they gave me a dressing room, and you would go into other actors' dressing rooms, and there would be pictures of their family, and there would be a comfortable couch, and there would be all this stuff. I never, when that show was canceled, it took me about 4 minutes. I didn't have anything in it. Got whatever I brought for that day, and I was going. I don't know why that's. I apologize. Hold on. I mean, I'm just so mad. I don't know why that noise.
Are you hooked up to some kind of device or something?
No, there's a computer. I don't want to say the name of it, but everything seems to be kind of breaking. And to get them fixed, I have to send them back, and I'd have to shut the studio down. So I'm going to bring in my engineer and then send them the bill and see what they do. But even when I worked at radio stations and I had an office, some for 8 or 10 years.
Well, sometimes in radio,
I would leave. Kevin, I'd be gone in a day. I mean, there was nothing. There was no box to take out.
Well, that's how it is in radio. It's like that you come at the end of the shift, they bring you in, they say, "Okay, that's it, thanks."
Oh, that's the ball game. That's right. Yeah. And then they have security.
Always
escort you out.
Yeah.
Garrett, do they have security escort secretaries and stuff out even at Sirius XM?
Totally.
Really?
Yeah, there's been a number of people that are very mad about the way they were taken out of this building.
And they cry. I mean, do they? I mean, I'm thinking of a couple of women.
Emotional.
It's the thing where you can't even get your personal possessions out of your desk. They'll box it up and mail it to you.
Yeah. And that security guard that's out there today, he's he's crazy.
Is that why I spotted you sitting in the lobby and not roaming the halls?
Yes.
Is that the guy, the dark-haired guy,
yes.
The kind of Italian-looking fellow with the pasted down hair?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep,
I have run across him in the coffee room.
But this is what he does,
Jay.
This is what he does. When you go in, when you I have to sign in every day, so he doesn't let me sign in on the sheet. He signs everybody in. He does his own ledger. So usually people come in and I go, okay, my name is Kevin Meaney, and I'm here to see Garrett Andritz. And I put in the time, but he writes, and everybody writes it in themselves. Mm-hmm. He does everything by hand. Mm-hmm. He will never let you sign in yourself.
Well, there are these George Zimmerman type guys.
Yes.
They want to be they want to be cops or whatever the deal is.
Oh, he pats me down every day.
No, he doesn't.
Sure he does. Is that legal? Is he allowed to do that?
No,
only when you ask him.
He does it in the bathroom. He brings me in the bathroom. Pats me down.
What's really funny to me is criminals are now posting their crime on the internet and daring the cops to arrest them. And the time from their posting to the time they're arrested is less than a day.
Yeah.
Man posts video of his marijuana garden on YouTube, gives his name and address.
This is in Connecticut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
William Bradley, 46.
Doesn't he have, like, MS or something, and he wants to help other people? He has too much pot, and he was growing it on his own?
Well, they dragged him out of his home.
Yeah, they did.
Crippled and writhing, and have arrested him on it says here, a host of drug dealing offenses.
But what he's trying to do is this, I think what
like
happened
the movie?
in this country, like, we're all so behind this marijuana, everybody's smoking marijuana for medical purposes, and it's legal in Colorado and other states, and this guy goes, hey, I've got MS, and I've got too much pot, maybe I can help other MS patients with their pain, and I can give them some of my pot. And that's what he did.
Well, they think they're doing the Matthew McConaughey movie.
Yes, they think they're helping people out, but it is illegal. I was telling that to Kate last night. About pot.
I just read about a woman who robbed a bank, and then went home and went on Facebook and showed all the money she had robbed to her ex-husband and said, come on over, let's party, and let's go get that tattoo that you've always wanted. I got lots of cash. And when the cops arrested her, she was still wearing the outfit that she'd robbed the bank in,
What
it happened within, I know. It's weird. How about guys that do stuff to women and knock them out, and they screw them and stuff, and then they put it on the internet. I mean, wow. Yeah. How dumb is that? That's rape, man. You're going to get it. Listen, at least that's a good thing about the internet. As many idiots that are speaking that have no right to have a voice. The worst amendment that we've ever had in the United States is the First Amendment, the right to free speech. All you have to do is ride any public transportation and know that 90% of Americans don't need to have any voice at all. None whatsoever. I like what Barack Obama's doing. He's made himself king. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to start saying, it's been 15 years, and they have not had a full complement of judges in one of the circuits. It might be the Washington circuit, because all of the presidents, they can't, like Bush couldn't get his conservative judges in, Clinton couldn't get his liberal judges in, vice versa. So Barack Obama couldn't get it. So then they blew this, they threw out this filibuster thing, for the 60 votes. It's the first time ever. There are 11 judges. Now, I don't know who they are.
Because he can just appoint them without...
Yeah.
Without
and it's a big deal
votes?
because there was a backlog of thousands of cases.
Well, it's good that we have judges now. Isn't that a positive?
Yeah. And the Republicans are saying, we're going to show you.
And what are they going to do?
When we get in, we're going to appoint judges. And I go, okay, fine. Mm-hmm. So they'll be conservative. And, it'll swing like a pendulum. It's just so, Ronald Reagan, that they always talk about, of course, can never be elected. But he used to always sit down with Tip O'Neill and the Democrats.
We'd sit down together,
They would all talk.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nancy.
Isn't that weird that at the end of his presidency, he was upstairs watching reruns of Hee Haw while he was the president?
He loved Saved by the Bell.
They say that for the last 2 years of his presidency, he hardly knew what planet he was on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of scary. And you got Nancy up there with a friggin'
the astrology book.
Oh, my God.
And the gun. Little gun under her bed. Right?
Al in Maryland. Yes, Al, it's Jay Thomas. Kevin Meaney is there. Go ahead, Al in Maryland.
Good morning, afternoon. Hey, my neighbor's walking his dog this past summer. He's real early in the morning. He sees a motorcycle laying on the side of the road. He thinks, sort of looks like my motorcycle, and he looks at it closer. That is my motorcycle. Goes home, finds out the guys have broken in his garage, stole a couple motorcycles. That one they couldn't start. Police come, interview the family, and they have a teen son. And they said, "Yeah, I have an idea who it might be." And the guy goes, "Well, yeah, I know exactly who it is." They said, "How do you know?" He goes, "Well, it's on Facebook. He has all these stolen motorcycles, and he shows videos of him riding them, and then they takes him down to Baltimore and gets rid of them." And police said, "Okay." And he said, "Show us." They showed him on the Facebook, page. And a couple days later, they came back and said, "Hey, here's your motorcycle." Got that whole house full of them. It was two guys. Unfortunately, one of them had just got out of prison for armed robbery, and they said, "We got him this time." They said, "What do you mean this time?" They said, "Well, he's already been convicted of armed robbery, but he's out on parole. He only served 18 months, so we think we got him now." So we got that kind of justice going on, huh?
It's really, it's really so incredibly stupid.
I mean, they
hard to
monitor
believe.
Facebook and social media of the police now. I mean, they have a whole division just monitoring idiots.
But that's only if you're friends with the police can they see it.
Yeah.
No, I think anybody can see my page.
Our town a little slow on the
Yeah,
uptake.
I think all you have to do is follow somebody and you can see it too. Some people don't know about those settings.
I have it open up to anybody. Anybody can see it. The public.
Garrett, you're gonna love to look for these people. Hannah H-A-N-N-A-H Sabata, S-A-B-A-T-A, Waco, Nebraska, is the woman that held up the money that she'd robbed on her Facebook page, held up the keys to a car that she may have stolen. I told my mom today was the best day of my life after she'd robbed the bank. She claimed on the tape that she's a victim of the government.
That's right.
Because her child had been taken away from her. And but now I can find purpose. When they arrested her and handcuffed her, she came out of her house hysterical, laughing. I mean, she's insane, but she's the one. Hannah Sabata.
She came out laughing.
She had the music of Green Day was behind her.
There's the picture.
She actually produced it. Yeah, she's a little production.
All right. She's got a couple of nice pictures. That picture
well, wait a minute.
really good. There's a few nice ones.
Wait a minute. The clip
She's
went
making
viral.
Zeppelins.
No, the clip went viral. It went all over the place.
Yeah. I'm famous, motherfucker.
Wow. You know what she calls herself on Facebook?
No.
Chick bank robber.
Her Facebook cover page is the cops leading her out of the house.
Really?
She's laughing. Yeah.
Proudest moment of my life.
Wow.
By the way, she got 10 to 20. 10 to 20
Maybe
years.
she'll get out
She
in
said
the
she had a gun. She handed the woman a note. She said she had a gun. Mm-hmm. That's armed robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Even if you don't have the gun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is her statement in court. I learned that robbing a bank takes you to jail. I was just manic that day. I'm sorry I scared the teller. I just wish I could take it all back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I bet she does. I bet she means that, and so there's a lot of time to think now.
10 to 20.
much
Greg
money
of
did
Pennsylvania.
They never tell you. They never tell you.
It looked like a few, a couple $1,000, whatever the woman has in the cash drawer. Well, what's amazing is how chicken shit the bank is. You hand them a note. I have a bomb strapped to me. Give me all the money. Okay. All right. Here it is.
Here's your money.
I go, no, I'm not going to do that. Go ahead and blow the bank up.
Sometimes, like a teller or somebody at a convenience store will just like grab the baseball bat behind the counter and just start swinging. I love to watch those shows. You
ever see the Bill Murray movie where it's taken from a true story, where he goes into the bank? He's dressed as a clown.
Yes.
Right? And he robs the bank, and then doesn't he dress everyone? No. He takes the clown outfit off. He puts it on someone else. They think that's the robber, and he's let go with all the people that are let out of the bank. Mm-hmm. Isn't that how it worked? That was genius. So he goes in dressed as a clown, robs the bank, and then switches the clown suit or something with someone, and he ducks down and pretends he was a patron or whatever. Greg of Pennsylvania. Yes, go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Jay, how's it going, man?
Good.
All this talk about people doing stupid shit on Facebook reminded me of, I don't know if you remember, but it was over the summer or so last year, a guy in Florida killed his wife and then took pictures and put it on Facebook about how sorry he was and things.
After he killed it?
How did he kill her? What did he use?
I want to say he shot her or something, and the pictures were pretty gruesome. She was all slumped over in a weird dead person position. And I don't know, it was pretty crazy.
Was he?
Well,
did he feel bad about it, or was he just confessing about it?
Oh yeah, that's what the Facebook post was. Like, I can't believe this happened, or I'm sorry, and I'm about to be arrested and things.
Greg, do you live in Philadelphia or anywhere near Philadelphia?
About 2 hours west of Philly.
Well, you can relax because the man accused of putting Swiss cheese on his pecker has been arrested.
No.
Well, that's good.
Ricotta,
Officers from Philadelphia's SVU have arrested Chris Pagano, who was rumored to be the cheese masturbator. They arrested him this morning. By the way, he is a piggy, a real fatso.
Yeah.
He's got the ears.
I hope Law and Order rips
like,
this one from the
with his
headline.
pants off and stuff.
Yeah.
Can we see a picture of him?
Yeah. Bring it up.
Just Google it. There's some crazy pictures. Hey, I got to run, guys.
Okay, bye-bye. Bring Piggy back up again. Yeah, he would...
How much Swiss cheese did he have on him when they caught him?
Oh, man, they show him with his hands up.
There he is. Well, there's one that he's a little heavier in one picture than the other picture.
He looks a little older, too, like it aged him.
Yeah.
Here's the Fox 29... Fox 29 Philadelphia.
I want to make sure I didn't meet him on Grindr at one point.
You would have known.
Listen to this.
You would have known.
Even it smells like
Fox 29 says, through the eye of our camera, cops bring in the alleged Swiss cheese pervert.
Gouda for them.
You know what, Gary? You mean like Goudas?
Yes,
like
Gouda cheese.
Pagano, who offered a woman money to watch him put Swiss cheese on his dick, and this is coming off the internet, faces charges of indecent exposure, stalking, and harassment. Now, this is not Pagano's first brush with the law.
What did he do before?
Over his love of Hold Dairy. What else? They say he's done other stuff. Oh, in 2009, he removed a large block of cheese from his pocket and offered a woman $20 to rub the cheese on his penis. And he pleaded to disorderly conduct and everything else. Well, everybody in Philadelphia can breathe easy now.
Wow. This is great.
By the way, when the cops caught him and they put him up for the mug shot, they made him say cheese.
Oh, God.
What a monster.
Kevin, we sound like laughing cows.
There are T-shirts.
Too, laughing cows. Is great.
Hey, wait.
I haven't come up with one. I'm so bad. I feel that music is in my head.
There are.
I don't have any words.
I don't.
There are T-shirts for sale now that are proclaiming free cheese fucker, and they have a wedge of cheese, a cheese on it. So wow, this is unbelievable. He said that his allure to cheese, and I'm repeating myself, but I'll say it again. The reason why he's into it, it reminds him of a female's milky smooth skin, like Scarlett Johansson's breasts look like, like beautiful.
Well, then why doesn't he masturbate with Havarti?
I don't know. Is that soft?
Yes,
I don't know.
and milky.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it doesn't smell nearly as bad.
Unbelievable.
I like the Beamster cheese.
By the way, he's been told to stay away from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Garrett. Because there he may be asking for cheese head.
Oh, he's going to finish the second that he crosses the state line.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Let's go to Ken who's in Tulsa. Yes, Ken from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, Jay, good to talk to you.
Thank you.
I was thinking about you last night.
Really?
Sexy.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna tell this bit until I can figure out what the hell the name of that.
You know what he says?
movie
He
is.
said, wait a minute. The guy just said, don't worry, I'm going to walk. There's holes in this case. There you go.
The guy sounds like a monster to me.
All right, we got that one. We had that one already. You're late.
He's
You're
a
late.
cheese stick.
All right, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. We're professionals.
He's trying.
No.
I heard the cops were fed up with him.
What? Fed up?
Fed up with him.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
God.
Let's go to Mark of Texas. Yes, Mark, go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Good,
Hey,
thank
it was
you.
funny. You just said he just posted yesterday on the internet on Cupid that the cops try and find me or something like that.
Right?
Yeah, well, they did that a few days ago, yeah. He's also writing a book called Provolone's Complaint. I don't know.
Hey, remember that movie Falling Down? You ever see that movie?
Was that the one with Michael Douglas?
Yeah. He goes
Where
up to
he's
the
like,
nerve.
he's upset and he's going to shoot people and stuff? Is that it? He's
Well, no, he
really-
wasn't really going to shoot people. He was going through a separation or divorce, and the cop there was his last day. He was going to retire, and he wanted to just go see his kid for a birthday or some
Right.
shit. And everything
right.
that could go wrong went wrong, and he just snapped. And the best part of the movie was he's in a burger shop, the burger joint, and he ordered a cheeseburger, and the guy slapped some piece of shit burger down. He goes, "Does that look like the picture?" And he just takes out his gun, his machine gun, and just shoots the shit out of the fucking ceiling.
Yeah, I remember that movie. That was that's kind of a good movie.
Well, at
yeah.
first he tried to order breakfast, but it was 11:01.
Oh, that's right.
And they stopped serving breakfast at 11.
Yeah, that's
And he was
right.
like a kid.
I love
You know
that
what? I got to
movie.
rewatch that movie. That one and also
That's
the
a
movie.
great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
What about the
Michael
movie
Douglas
where
is
they
bad.
play they play the game on him? He's really rich, and his brother plays this ridiculous game.
Yeah, the game
where-
was called.
Oh my God, that
What
is
movie
a
is that?
wild one. The Game. The Game is an incredible movie. Also,
Is that with
him
Michael
where-
Douglas also?
Yeah.
Yeah, who plays his brother? A
I
famous
want
star
to say
plays.
Sean Penn, but hold on.
Yeah, Sean Penn, I think, plays his brother and plays this incredible hoax on him, but it really gets out of hand. It's
Well, I
called
have
The
to see
Game.
that then. It's called The Game, huh?
The Game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that
All
Falling
right.
Down, though, was Michael Douglas, I think, best movie he ever did.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mark of Texas.
Hey,
Thank
hey,
you.
not a problem, man. You have a good weekend.
All right. Let's go to Mike, who's in California. Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Jay. By the way, that
Get
movie
rid of him.
with Michael Douglas, The Game, it's fucking terrible. That guy doesn't know what he's talking
Get rid
about.
of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Thank you.
That's so mean.
Well, it isn't mean. It's like he opened up with a bad hour impersonation. And hold it a minute. We just spent 2 or 3 minutes on how great we thought the movie was.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need you calling or anybody saying it wasn't any good. We don't need that. If we think it's good and we're excited about it, then that's the segment. That's it. That's all we needed. We didn't need your meaningless opinion. And I could tell by the way you opened up, you think you're funny or whatever. You're a contrarian. You probably go home and you sit down and whatever your wife or family says, well, that's not true. You know, you're one of those. I could tell that instantaneously. I'm not joking. I can read a person, especially on the radio, within a matter of seconds of listening to their voice.
I feel so
I'm
bad
not
though
kidding.
sometimes.
Why?
You go, get rid of them, because they're there on the other line. They go, what did I do? All I did was try to make Jay laugh.
No, they're not interesting. And I think you should know early on. I think, let's say you have a kid and I have an artist and I have an outdoorsman and I have all this. I'm surrounded by all this. I think that if the art is bad or the music is bad or whatever, I think someone needs to tell them before they continue on in a bad path. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So here's an example. Like you told the guy from Groupon that it wasn't a great idea. So you were very honest right there.
Well, no. Eventually I was correct. But, of course, he's already a billionaire.
Yeah.
No one even mentions Groupon. And I don't know what anybody does with it, but I don't think it's even viable anymore, is it, Garrett? Is it still...
Yes.
It's still out there?
Very much so.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
And the guy from e-cigarette, and I'm not joking, he told us he was going to be a billionaire. He is well over, he sold a billion cigarettes.
You know, Kate tells me every day that, this new, a friend of hers now is smoking e-cigarettes. All the kids in school, like 9th grade and up, they're all smoking e-cigarettes.
It's bad.
Of course it's bad. But even a friend of mine who's a doctor, a cancer doctor, says, well, at least it's better than regular cigarettes. So,
let's go to DJ, who is in Atlanta. Yes, DJ, go ahead.
Hey, I'm so sorry that you guys actually gave out the name of that guy. You tempted me to look up with the county, the police report, and it states that the perpetrator stated when he was obtained by the police, when they actually tried to take the cheese from him, he said it's nacho cheese.
Not bad.
All right, I'm done.
There you go. You're done. You're out of
He was very, very good.
And that's how it's done.
That's how it's done.
Ronnie, down in Mississippi. Yes, Ronnie, go ahead from Mississippi.
It's Lonnie with a L.
Well,
yeah, Lonnie.
Yeah, Lonnie. Yes, Lonnie, go ahead.
The movie was Bill Murray's Quick Change.
Oh, yeah.
Dina Davis and Randy Quaid.
That was a really good movie. A really good movie. I really liked it.
Randy Quaid is crazy.
But they say that, oh boy, is he. He came to Santa Barbara and moved back into a home that he had sold 10 years ago with his wife. Yeah. And the cops come to the house and they go, okay, you got to get out. He goes, no, we own this home. And the guy says, no, you don't. We have the deed here, and the people called the cops and all. And they left owing the hotel here $10,000 and went to Canada. And they I don't even know if he's still in Canada or not.
Well, he did this show,
they went berserk.
A musical called Lonesome Dove that a friend of mine did. That was going to become a Broadway show. It was a big, big show. And he ruined it for everybody that was part of it.
Why would they hire him? He's known to be insane.
Well, they didn't know. And then
it's like hiring, you know what? It's like hiring B.B. Newirth works all the time. And I did a Woody Allen play with her, and she was a bitch on wheels. She was, and I tried to befriend her and everything else, and she was just awful to everybody. And she works all the time. Mm-hmm. It's weird,
Quaid was in Streets of Laredo, which was a Lonesome Dove spinoff. So that's maybe where they got it from.
Well, look, in the vacation movies, he's funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Brokeback Mountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
My favorite movie.
You wonder if it's drugs. You wonder if they've been made mad by drugs. I don't know.
Well, he was saying, him and his wife were saying people in Hollywood were trying to assassinate him, and the guy that was in the Batman movie, they assassinated him, and they just went crazy.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to assassinate an actor. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
Well, they would come after you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Lonnie, very much.
All right,
Tom.
buddy.
Tom, are you in Madison, Wisconsin? Is that where you are? Madison? Hello, Tom?
I like Madison, Wisconsin. It's one of my favorite towns to go to.
Let's go to Kenny, who is in Missouri. Everybody's gone. Let's go to Austin, who is in California. Yes, Austin.
Hey,
go ahead.
Jay. I just love you, brother. You're the best. You were saying that you can read people immediately when you hear their voice, but you keep taking calls from Mark in Texas.
Who is that?
Well, I know the guy.
Mm-hmm. So what? So he must add something. What, do I hang up on him a lot?
No, you don't hang up on him. You let him ramble.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Now here's the other thing. I only have a memory of about 30 or 40 seconds. So Christina, I asked for Christina to bring another guest on. She said, we already had the guy on. I went, oh.
Yeah.
I went like this, well, bring him on again.
Why not?
It's all
He
right.
might tell you something.
No. What I mean is after I talk for a few minutes, if they're trying to be funny or if they do stuff, you can tell that they are losers, and I just get rid of them. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know a thing about you. I don't know anything about you.
Of course not.
Right now.
How could you?
But if you start some kind of weird discussion, now, if you're going to be good for the show, I'm going to keep you on the air.
Absolutely. I understand.
If you're not going to be good for the show,
material, but
well, you should have.
I'm not.
You know what's funny? Someone called yesterday as Martina Navratilova, and I'm sure they're listening today. And when we saw that, we went, okay, that's kind of funny. And it's not a person that works for us that we know. All you have to do, and Kevin, back me up on this, you pull your car or truck over to the side of the road. Mm-hmm. You go, I'm going to call as Martina Navratilova. I'm going to put a really bad accent on and just jot down, just relax your mind, and some stuff will come to you. I'm telling you, it's not that difficult. But just calling up, which happens all the time, just calling up and saying you are this person, we're all expecting you to say something witty after that.
Exactly. Well,
and they don't.
Let me think.
It's so weird. It's like, what do you think we do? We relax our minds, and a joke comes to you, or an idea of something.
I'm thinking that there's more that Martina can do with the ball than hit it with the racket.
Well, don't think now.
I know. Okay? Don't think now. That's
don't do it on the air. Do it by yourself in your
room.
Jay,
I love you, brother.
All right.
You're the best.
Well, all right. Quit saying that. That's fucking.
Yeah, you're wonderful. Take care.
Let's go to Ken in Tulsa. Were you just on here a few minutes ago, Ken in Tulsa? Didn't we get rid of you?
You killed me. I was on hold for 6 hours waiting for you, and
yeah. Then you were terrible. You were awful. I got rid of you because you're no good.
You know what? My parents were disappointed too, Jay. So just
there you go. I wasn't wrong about you then. I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I got an L on my forehead.
So listen. You don't have an L on your forehead. You need.
Was by Jay Cronley from Tulsa. I need to go back and watch Cheers. I was thinking about you last night watching Cheers.
All right, get rid of this guy. Get rid of him.
You're so right.
Right or wrong?
You are right. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I agree with you now. Yes.
John in Kentucky.
Totally agree with you.
Hey, man, what are you on?
I know. Now, in Kentucky, they'd want to put, like, because of the grass, they'd want to put blue cheese.
Right there yourself, Jay.
That just came to me just because I was relaxing.
Well, I read the police report, and they put him in solitary confinement. You know why?
Why?
Because they found his personality grating.
What an idiot. Get rid of him, also. Get rid of him. Get out of here.
This is going to go on all day, and I'm not going to have to think of one.
At Jay Thomas Show at Gmail, I'm getting sent all kind of stuff. Ronald Perley, Perley of Manchester, New Hampshire. Ronald Perley, he's on video. He goes into Bellman's Jewelers in Manchester, New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. And he tries to steal a $3,200 white gold ring from the jewelry store. The people lock the door. Yes. He can't get out. The alarm goes off. The people that run the store lock themselves in an office, so now he's alone. And here come the police. He swallows the ring. And when the cops get there, he says, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So they get the camera, and they watch it, and they X-ray his stomach as mandated by a search warrant, and they could see the ring in there, and then they guarded the toilet.
That hospital room, yes,
a screen or something.
Or it's probably not. They probably didn't put him in a hospital room. They probably just put him in.
Well, they had to wait because he was going to try and get rid of it in the toilet.
Sure.
The owner, David Bellman, says, my staff says that no one will want to buy that ring. But I think it'll go for more because now it has a history.
I swallowed a bottle cap once, and
I know you told us that.
They had to take it out surgically because a certain, like you can swallow certain things and they'll pass through your, intestines, but that couldn't get through that little hole in my stomach to go into my intestine.
Oh.
So they had
You sued the guy. You sued the guy, didn't you?
I had a peanut stuck in my lung. That was the first time. That was when I was in first grade. And then the bottle cap in the stomach.
I got my hair cut today by a new woman, and she's friends of my buddy Mike DeGree, who was tragically killed in this helicopter crash working for James Cameron.
Yeah.
That'll be 2 years, February the 3rd. And he's left a hole in this community you can't believe, because he was this, like a world changer kind of guy, oceanographer and all this kind of stuff. I mean, everybody be sad if I, died, or my family be, but this guy, we're sad because we lost like a meaningful individual. So I go in and I'm getting my hair cut, and the woman is asking me, she says, I was friends with him too. And she said, my husband died 18 months ago. And I said, how did he die? He choked on a sliver of meat in their backyard during a barbecue party.
See, that's why I'm a vegetarian.
No, but wait a minute. I said, what about the Heimlich? She said, everyone at the party gave him the Heimlich.
Yeah.
He took a sliver of meat off of the steak, not a chunk, like to get a taste of the...
And did it get stuck in his esophagus? Or
It covered his windpipe.
Yeah.
And the only way, the paramedics were there in 5 minutes. The only way they could have gotten him to breathe was somebody would have needed to poke a hole
in his chest.
In that area.
Yeah.
You can feel it, right?
Yeah, but can't you do that? You poke it. Yeah, you open up the windpipe.
You can. No, you can. You can take a knife and you can cut it. And you can put take a pin apart, like an 8 pin apart. Yeah. And she said we were all too afraid to do it.
Yeah.
And he died.
I had a girlfriend once that she got a piece of meat stuck in her esophagus, and then
would you have the guts to cut the guy's throat?
No. And then she went to the hospital the next morning. I didn't even realize it, and she had to have that thing surgically removed.
Well, she's lucky she's alive.
Yeah.
Well, this guy now,
Sue Murphy,
the woman
good friend of mine,
was telling me that they've given the paramedics now classes on how to do it. She also said after
what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to take the pen and put it through your throat?
Well, wait a minute. You got to cut a hole.
I think I've seen it on a movie or something where they take the pen and they jab it in your throat.
No, they do it in the battlefield. They do it on the
yeah.
battlefield. They do it all the time. Guys are injured and they can't
Guys are
breathe.
eating meat out on the field.
No, their mouth is full of blood or whatever the thing is. And Now, I'm wondering if my outdoor kid would have had the guts to try it. And the next thing
Call him up.
Suppose they would have... Suppose the guy dies, and they blame the death on the Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Is there a Good Samaritan law that protects you? I don't know.
I think that would,
Well, there were steak knives everywhere, sharp knives everywhere. Sure. They could have... you could, if you feel, I don't know, like under your Adam's apple for a man or down there, you can feel where you could get the opening going, right? Listen... Going through what I've been through and seeing people going through all kinds of stuff, the human body can take quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Can. I should be dead. I really should be dead with what I've been through.
If you could, you would cut a hole there. Garrett, would you have had the guts to take a sharp knife and to cut a hole? I'd like to know what that.
I think if it was your daughter or son or parents or something,
that's the point where you could just I got to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it.
What else am I going to do?
You should see me try to remove a splinter.
And then you put just an opening of some sort. You put something in there like a funnel of some. And so, what a terrible story. And she said, but after a minute and a half, the paramedics said that his brain had been damaged. Now, I didn't know it was that quick.
Yeah,
I
don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, because they bring people back from underwater that have been down there for a while, and they revive them,
but
and they're fine.
How about everybody trying to get the thing out of his throat and no one could do it?
Yeah, around the barbecue. Wonder if they finished that meal.
No, I'm sure that was...
Nobody ate that steak.
All bad.
You want a steak sandwich? Bad. No, I don't want that.
Aaron of Buffalo. Yes, Aaron. Go ahead, Aaron of Buffalo.
Yeah, you guys were talking about that. The movie The Heat with Sandra Bullock, and someone's choking, and one of the scenes they cut the hole in her throat, and blood just starts flowing everywhere, and it was hilarious as far as the movie goes. But
it was hilarious. Wait a minute. Hold it a second. It was a comedic version of opening your throat.
Well, yeah, the movie's just like so overboard. It's like two cops that are just so over the top, and they think they know everything. And it was a great movie, but there was one portion in there where someone's choking, and instead of giving the Heimlich maneuver, they just cut the person's throat open and stuff a straw down there. Well, blood just spurting everywhere, and I don't know what would happen if you cut somebody's throat to put a straw in their throat, but it was. You guys were talking about
this was with Melissa McCarthy, that movie.
Yeah, in the movie, does the person live in the movie?
Yeah, they're cleaning their throat. Somebody has to give them the Heimlich maneuver to actually lodge the thing out. Now they got a hole in their throat, and they just recovered from the choking. What are you, two idiots?
Wow.
I knew a girl who dated Peter Heimlich, Dr. Heimlich's son.
No.
Yeah, I did. We used to all go out together.
Peter Heimlich?
His name was Peter Heimlich, yeah. And he used to go
my
out
dad
with my
was
friend, Linda Hill.
Had a big meeting in Denver, and they take him to this steakhouse, and they're bragging about the steak, and he starts chewing it, and it's getting bigger in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to do anything or take his napkin and take the meat out or whatever, so he tries to swallow it. Well, guess what? He starts choking at this meeting, and finally, I guess somebody grabs him or whatever, and they do it, and this giant piece of meat comes flying out of his throat. So he says the weird thing is, my dad said, you feel fine after it's over.
You're ready to eat?
Oh, yeah. Everyone in the place is so horrified by what happened. And the image of the bloody, grisly meat laying on the table, he said it was just really quiet.
It's so insane how fast you can go back to eat after that happens.
Well,
you were this close to death, and you go right back to eat.
I almost died because of a blue sour Skittle while I was driving. And that was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. Because
you got a Skittle caught in your throat?
A sour Skittle. So not only is it caught in my throat, but it's the most painful thing that's ever. And I'm driving on the highway in New Jersey, so I had to throw my car off to the side of the road and just start punching myself, basically. It came up eventually, but it was really. I really could have died. It was really.
Did you finish it?
No, I have not eaten a Skittle ever since.
Oh, okay.
What?
It would have melted.
It was sharp and painful.
Not in
and it was in my
time.
wind bag.
Not in time, Garrett.
Breathe.
Not if it took a couple of minutes.
And I was driving, and I was by myself.
I
saved my own life.
And you're supposed to throw yourself over the back of a chair.
Yeah, I was thrusting myself, but the seat was made a cushion, and then I'm like, maybe I can hit myself off the steering wheel. So I'm thrusting myself the other way.
Truckers are jacking off to you.
It looked terrible.
Hey, look at that! She's throwing herself
but
over
I
a chair.
literally did everything I could to save my own life. It was really touch and go.
How weird do you think you looked inside
I looked
of the
awful.
car?
I looked awful. I can't believe nobody pulled over because I looked like I was having a seizure. It was terrible.
Well, years ago I went home to visit my mom, and I decided to take a run. So I take a run around Bayou St. John where we lived, and I run under these trees, and it was, I don't know what, the birds had laid a bunch of eggs and stuff. And all of a sudden, these blackbirds begin to attack me, and there's a big stand of trees, and I can't get out of it. So I'm flailing at these birds, and I'd run as fast as I could, and I'm flailing, and they're zooming at me. I don't know why, but it's scary, and they wouldn't have done a thing.
Yeah. Of course they would. They'll take your eyes out.
No, they wouldn't have done. So
blackbirds.
I'm flailing and flailing and flailing, and I finally get away from them, and I finish my run. I go to a high school reunion or something that night, and this guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, Were you jogging today, by the by? And I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, what were you doing? Some sort of aerobics or some sort of, and they say this all the time, some sort of California thing? They're always saying that to me. And I went, no, birds were attacking me. He says, what? I said, birds. He goes, what birds? I said, you didn't see the blackbirds? The ones with the orange on the tip of their wing there?
I think your brother gave you some dope or something.
And the guy had a drink in his hand, and he hadn't seen me in like 20 years, and he went, no, I didn't see any birds. So. And I had a baseball cap on. They weren't going to do anything. You know, what are they going to do? I don't know. Gretchen, you're in Kentucky. Do you know that John of Kentucky? Do you know who that person is? You ever hang with him?
Hey, I'm from the northernmost part. I'm from 10 miles from where Mr. Heimlich, Dr. Heimlich's from.
Oh, no kidding.
You're 10 miles from where is Heimlich from? St. Louis
He's
or something?
He's from Cincinnati. No.
Ohio, right. Near Ohio, right? Yeah.
Do you know Peter Heimlich?
No.
No? Okay.
But I do know of Dr. Heimlich and the neighborhood.
Do people come over to his house when they're choking on something?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to stop you for 1 second. I'm going to stop for 1 second. I used to send material to try and get on Saturday Night Live. And I didn't go up because I didn't do voices, but I wanted to be a writer for Saturday Night Live. And I knew Joe Piscopo, and I knew, some folks over there, and I would send material. One of the bits, there's a restaurant. It's a German restaurant, okay? Mm-hmm. And there's a guy sitting at a table, and his name is Heimlich, and he is a war criminal. I don't know how I established it, but he was a war criminal. At another table, a person starts choking on a piece of meat. Yes. And someone begins to yell, Heimlich! Heimlich! And he thinks he's been caught as a war criminal. And the person gets up, Heimlich gets out of his chair, runs for the door, and as the piece of meat leaves the person's throat, it hits the war criminal in the back of the head. I sent that to Saturday Night Live. I can't believe they didn't call me back. But anyway, well, this is a small
they
world.
had given me the Heimlich maneuver, Jay, on
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live. They had given me the Heimlich maneuver when I did a yes.
Hey, Garrett. I'm not going to be like Rodney now. They used my bit.
No, this was when I did it in
They used my bit.
1988.
That's when I sent it.
I was in a restaurant and a bit, and somebody came over and I forget, it was a Star Trek. William Shatner was the host, and it was something where they had given me the Heimlich and a big piece of meat came out of my mouth.
That's my bit.
Yeah,
Can you believe it?
That's
They
on
eventually
SNL.
used it.
Yeah.
So, Gretchen, what made you call us today, Gretchen of Kentucky?
Well, I really love listening to you guys, and I'm glad you're on earlier in the afternoon. But I got to admit, I do turn it off when you do John from Kentucky. Could you please make him John from Mississippi or John from Tennessee occasionally?
You're from an area of Kentucky, or you're very educated. You're not originally from Kentucky, are you?
Yes, I am.
Well, you're like me. I don't have a Louisiana accent. I don't have one of those ugly, and it's not Cajun. It's this really ugly kind of, hey, where you at, your mother? What's happening? It's like that. It's like the way down there like that, right? So I don't have that kind of accent. And you don't have the one from Kentucky. So you and I are not quintessential members of our
You're
state.
both very bright.
Yeah, you're an
She
outsider.
feels like
I'm an
by
outsider.
association.
Mm-hmm.
She's now a hillbilly, redneck.
But I can't stop people from calling here. You sound like a nice person, Gretchen. But you know what, Gretchen? I'm going to read you right now, and I bet your friends feel the same way. You're very pushy.
No, not really.
Really?
No.
I bet you if you ask a friend tonight, you go ask a friend or a husband, and I'm sure you don't have a husband anymore because you're so pushy.
Oh.
Are you divorced?
Okay.
Are you divorced?
I'm not. Goodbye.
You're divorced. Huh? You're divorced.
No, I was
yes, you are.
trying.
No, you're divorced. You're pushy. You're pushy.
I was just sick
I can tell.
of making fun of Kentucky.
I'm not making fun of Kentucky. No, I'm not making fun of Kentucky.
I thought it was a bit. You guys did.
No, it's not a bit. It's not a bit.
Okay. All right. Never mind.
Okay.
She doesn't sound that pushy, see?
Just like a guy, he walks into this bar and he goes, "Excuse me." And the bartender looks at him and goes, "Yes, what is it?" And the guy doesn't know what to say. He goes, "I'd like to get a drink." "I got you want a drink?" "Yes, I'd like a drink. I want a beer." "I'm going to get you a beer." And the guy gives him a beer. And the customer's just pissed. A woman sits down and she goes, "Excuse me." And the bartender says, "Yes, what can I do?" She says, "I would like to get a martini, a gin martini, please, very dry." "Okay, one gin martini, very dry." And the guy at the end of the bar says, "Hey!" And the bartender says, "What is it? Are you making fun of me?" And the bartender says, "No, I was making fun of her."
Apple pie and coffee.
You like that one?
No.
Huh? Garrett, I've been bringing them from the...
I don't get it. Me either. Like, there was two guys, but they had the same voice.
No, the guy thought the bartender was making fun of him. So when a woman sits down, he's got a regular voice. So the guy who talks like this says, "You were making fun of me." And he says, "No, I wasn't. I was making fun of her."
Oh, I got it.
That's his real voice. The bartender's voice is like that. See?
I got it.
You know what? You guys are too stupid for my humor.
It wasn't set up correctly. I was just wondering why the same guy had two different voices.
I need some medical marijuana.
My regular list. By the way, the phones have lit up, and we will continue talking. Stay where you are, because we're so friggin' lonely up here. We can't wait to talk to you.
Jay Thomas. The Afternoon Drive Show. Jay Thomas. Indy. Sirius XM 104. And on the Sirius XM app for smartphones.
At 5 o'clock Eastern Time, in about an hour, Nate Jackson, who was a wide receiver and a tight end in the NFL, played 5 years for originally signed with the 49ers as a free agent out of a Division III school. Very hard. You know, those are schools without even scholarships. But he's written a book, Slow Getting Up, a story of NFL survival from the bottom of the pile. He wasn't a great player, but he played 5 years for the Broncos and Mike Shanahan and all them. And it's funny, I was just telling them when we're off the air, I left that book out, and my wife read it cover to cover. And she's trying, she's becoming this football fan just in the last few years, and was interested because I like the Saints and she likes Green Bay. But now next year, as a surprise, I want to take her to Lambeau to see a live Green Bay game. I wonder how hard it is to get a couple of those tickets. It's got to be difficult.
Isn't she a stockholder in the...
Yes, she is. I don't know if they...
I'm sure they're going to give stockholders preferential treatment and give them a nice seat.
They didn't even sell out their playoff game until the final days. So
that's because
if I had known that sooner, oh my God! If I'd have given her 2 tickets and a plane ride, to Green Bay, forget it.
Who would have gone with her?
I'd have gone.
No, you wouldn't have gone to Green Bay.
I would have.
In the cold?
In Lambeau Field.
To sit in the cold?
To sit in Lambeau Field? Are you kidding?
But to sit in the cold after your sickness, you would have done that.
No, well, I don't know about all that, but I would have gone. Hell yeah, I would have gone. Oh, absolutely. That's they're tearing down all the stadiums, and the Cowboy Stadium is a terrible place. I went there for the Super Bowl. It's a stupid place. Jerry Jones is a real asshole, and that's why they're losing. And he's really trying to be the coach.
It's been 18 years since they won a Super Bowl. Is that correct?
Yeah, because of him.
Yeah, because of Jerry Jones.
Players come out of college and they want to be a Cowboy. They want to be,
Not anymore.
Yeah, no. Still, it's still But you see, the teams that do the best, the owner kind of like the Saints. The owner is granddaughter is the general manager of the Saints, and they handle the money and the PR, and they do, hiring and stuff, but they allow, the player personnel stuff to be handled by professionals. And Jerry Jones thinks he's a genius, and he's not. And I think that at the end of his life, Al Davis ruined the Oakland Raiders. And I think that, and I hate the Raiders and their fans. I think, every Raiders game, all the Raiders fans should be in handcuffs. They are the most dangerous individuals.
Oh, they've always
Are they the ones that wear spikes out of their faces?
I'm telling you, a buddy of mine played
the
for
Raiders.
the
The Oakland Raiders are so mean.
Yeah.
They've always been mean. That's what they're known for.
He played for the Patriots.
They're dirty players.
And the Raiders were in the Coliseum, and he comes down, and I'm waiting for him afterward in the tunnel, and he says, "Come on, man, let's get out of here." I go, "Why?" He goes, "I don't want to even deal with these Raiders fans if they come around us." And we hurry up and he's a huge guy. It was like a big defensive end for the Patriots. We run to the car. I thought it was weird. Yeah, he said, "Man, I don't want to be, hanging out in the parking lot." And I said, No, let's get out of here. So, they're just animals. I don't even know what that's all about. And, beat people up and all this kind of stuff. And so anyway, Nate Jackson will be here. But no, I would do anything, to get her a couple of tickets. I don't know what, I'll go online, I guess, and try and, buy them at StubHub or whatever.
Use your American Express points. They do everything.
That isn't a deal. That's not a value. That's not a deal.
You're never going to use the points.
Oh, yes, I am.
You haven't.
Oh, last night,
years.
I went through all of my family's and my cards for all of the airlines. And my kids and my wife had 40 and 50,000 miles that I didn't even realize on certain airlines that are going to expire like this summer. And so I'll get them to use them. I have 500,000 United miles, and I have 900 and something thousand American Express miles. We'll go on some big vacation, Garrett, and we'll spend 400,000 of them, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of going to Albania in the summer. Everybody goes to Rome and Paris and all. If you go to the Balkans, if you go to those, they have the beautiful.
Why don't you go to
beaches.
Sochi?
No, or you could go to Croatia. The Croatian coast is gorgeous. If you go to those places, you have ruins, Roman ruins, Turkish.
Well, Croatia
ruins.
is beautiful. We were talking about that the other day.
And I read the other day that not many people go there. Here's another thing: there are people out there, and it's really sad. And the economy is reversed because of it. This is the only time in the history of man that a new invention or something that has really revolutionized the world. The steam engine came in, gasoline came in. There are things that revolutionized, the world. The cotton gin revolutionized, and people said, "Oh, it's going to cost people jobs and everything else," and it did for a while, and then it becomes this big productivity thing, automobiles and all that. That's not what the internet is doing, and that's not what the tech world is doing. It is not making any new jobs because the companies don't have to hire many people, and you could sit in front of a computer and do work. And you don't need, I think half the Christmas presents this year were bought online, something crazy. That's going to close stores. So we're now living in this very strange world that we may not be able to recover from as a modern nation. And so I don't know what my kids are going to do, but I've told both of them, find a country overseas and go there and learn the language and go somewhere where this shit is still 15, 20 years away. Japan has 130 million people. It's the only mechanized country in the world that is losing population. And in 50 years, they'll be down to 90 million people. They have the lowest sperm count, the lowest fertility rate, and the lowest amount of children being born, and they have the longest lifespan. Isn't that odd? So I would go to Japan if I was young. Learn Japanese. They're dying off. They need people, but.
Well, you don't want to go to Japan now, not with the nuclear accident. That's.
So you wear a mask.
No, all that radiation. It's all
it
it's coming
can't
over
get
here.
through that.
Yeah,
it can't get through. Yeah. Let's go to Vince of Southern California. Yes, Vince. What made you decide to call us? Go ahead.
I was listening to your conversation saying you got attacked by birds while you were running, and that the same damn thing happened to me when I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. Couldn't figure it out.
It's because the nest, they have eggs or something, and they're protecting their
What
nest.
kind of bird? They were blackbirds, you said? I was attacked by blue jays a number of years
they're
ago.
tough.
Yeah, they're tough.
My high school, Jefferson Blue Jays, they're tough. Yeah.
Yeah, these they were like just like plain old crows hiding underneath the edge of the roofs from these old warehouses on this old Marine Corps base. And later on that day, I ended up getting sent for a drug test because somebody reported it back thinking that I was on some shit. You know what I mean? Like I
Now, is Okinawa pretty? If you went there for vacation, is the beach nice? I mean, what is that like, Okinawa?
Okinawa? Why would you go to the beach in Okinawa?
Oh, it's an island.
That's where they were all killed. Wasn't there a big...
Yeah, but we have a huge base there. Is it pretty?
Yeah, like the northern end of Okinawa is a lot nicer. The southern half of it is more populated. The northern half is like, say, more rugged, more terrain. There's like private resorts, and come, say, July and August, a lot of the mainland Japanese college students go down there, but everything is so...
For spring break?
Yeah, I guess
Everything is
for,
everything is so expensive in Okinawa?
Oh, yeah, and I'm talking in '96, if we went off base to go have a beer, if I wanted to, say, like, have an import beer, like a Heineken or a Corona, I was paying $10.
Wow.
It's expensive.
So now, if you went to Okinawa, is there like a sandy beach? Are there like nice beaches?
There are some. There's a few that say are open to the public, but they're very small. They have areas that are roped off because, from what I understand, there's still parts of the island that were so littered with ordnance and old landmines that there are parts of the island that are still off limits to civilians.
Wow.
Because of old landmines and old ordinances that are laying around all over the place.
Did you ever hear an explosion, like a dog or an animal or something was walking in one of those areas, and you guys would
No,
hear?
I never saw a canine or a cat walking around anywhere on that island. Strange.
Really?
Not
Have
that
they
I
all
ever saw.
been? Have they all been already served up in the various restaurants locally?
I think it was more of a delicacy with those people, so I think that was something, they didn't want anybody bootlegging their recipes or something, you know what I mean?
So there are no dogs and no cats on the island of Okinawa.
Yeah, nothing. And then there's like no fish. The fishing industry got killed off.
Really? Well, you know why? The Japanese have the ridiculous ships that they did it out here in California too, outside of the international waters, and we did it too. They just suck all the fish up. And they used to take the, the redwoods, and they wouldn't mill them in the United States. They would put them on these giant ships and mill them until, as they were going back to Japan. Yeah, they just they made our assembly line, look sick. And so now they're paying for it. Wow. All right. Well, thank you, Vince, of Southern California. Okinawa. Yeah. Garrett, did you ever think you would know anything about Okinawa, ever?
Yeah, Karate Kid. That's where Mr. Miyagi was from. Part 2, they went there and fought.
Oh.
So I know a lot about Okinawa.
Wow. I was in Karate Kid, too, and didn't even know that.
Wow, with the drum that you spin in your hands, and it has little mallets on either side. And
Do you know what I played in Karate Kid, too?
No,
you know
what did you
part?
play?
I played Jay Thomas, Power 106 radio announcer, because they were in the car and the radio was playing. And I don't know if I did that off air or they just, taped it. And I get a check as if I was in the movie. I've gotten 15, 20 grand over the years for Karate Kid 2. They get in a car and had billboards everywhere that said, "We apologize for Jay Thomas," and you couldn't shoot a scene without seeing my face somewhere. So my face is in it from that, and then they turn on the radio and I'm talking, and then they turn it off and I get a check. I'm also in the movie Being There. He looks at TV.
Oh my
time.
God, that's one of my favorite movies.
I'm in one of the
Peter
commercials.
Sellers. Yeah.
The woman gets out of the pool.
I like to watch.
I go, great legs. I get a check for that to this day. Brad of South Carolina. Yes, Brad.
Hey, Jay, how's it going?
Brad. Good, thanks.
I was just calling. My wife is also a Packers fan, and I surprised her about a week before.
Hey, maybe your wife and my wife can go and they can bump pussies.
And we can
so nice. How about that? You and I wear cheeseheads and stay back at the hotel.
Exactly.
And every time Aaron Rodgers does something, they'll just put their hands behind their head and do the big pussy bump.
Exactly. But no,
have you ever seen women do a pussy bump? That's a big thing. Big thing.
Might be that.
It's also called a mound ground every now and again. That might be, maybe in Atlanta it's called a mound ground. I don't know.
Scissor lift?
I see women do it. Yeah.
But, no, what I was calling is going to,
I like to do a sword fight.
Tickets. We went Monday Night Football, this year against the Bears when Rodgers got hurt. But I bought tickets a week beforehand on NFL Ticket Exchange. And
how much were they? How much?
I got 40-yard line, about 30 rows up for about $150 a piece.
And you went to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yep, Lambeau Field. I used points just like you were going to do. Use points
wait a
for our
minute.
flight.
Green Bay, Wisconsin is, it's 3 hours from Milwaukee, right?
Right. We had to fly into Milwaukee.
Close. Yeah.
And then we drove and we had to stay in Oshkosh because I got our room so late. And, Oshkosh is about midway between Green Bay and Milwaukee. So it was about an hour and a half to,
oh, you know what? She'll go crazy. I'm gonna definitely assume.
What you got to do is, go up a day early, and then the night before the game that you decide to go to, it's like $20 a head. You do the tour of Lambeau Field and go to the Packers Hall of Fame. $20.
Garrett, what a weekend. What a weekend.
It was awesome. I mean, we had a great time. Rodgers got hurt in the first quarter, but we had a great time.
Make sure you go in December to really get the feel of Lambeau.
No, hell no. We went in late October, I think, and we got lucky because it was 52 degrees.
I'm gonna wear a cheese head and don't have a shirt on. How about that? And I'm gonna paint targets over my titties.
We had the chicks that they always show on the TV there with the bikinis on. We had them sitting a couple rows in front of us. They're all bundled up, and then when the television when the game goes to commercial or whatever, they all strip down into their bikinis and stand there, and then when the game goes back on, they all bundle back up again. So it's not like they're standing out there the entire time.
And you know what? Those women, the Green Bay Packer bikini gals, they are a hefty group of gals. They're a healthy, hefty group of gals.
The ones that were sitting near us were not that bad off.
Really? You need an extra layer of of fat or skin or something to ward off that kind of cold. Brad, thank you. I can't wait. Now I'm excited. Thank you very much.
It's a blast, and it's super easy. But get your room before you get anything else, because if you get a room in Green Bay, you can stay actually in Green Bay instead of having to drive an hour and a half to the game.
All right. Thank you very much.
What about Oshkosh?
I like Oshkosh. Can you imagine?
I like the
who
the
goes
overalls.
to Oshkosh? Nobody. Yeah. How far away is Chicago from Green Bay?
Oh, a few hours.
I think it's like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a long way. Because I was thinking, you go to Chicago and then drive to Green Bay, but that's too far.
We flew into Milwaukee and then drove to Oshkosh and spent the night there.
You stop off at Ambrosia Chocolate in Milwaukee?
What's that?
Did you stop off at Ambrosia Chocolate in Milwaukee?
I did not.
Okay.
But we went to Snobelman's and had the best Bloody Mary that you'll ever have in your life.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Brad of South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Marie, who is in Orange County. Yes, Marie of Orange County,
Hi, Marie.
New York or Orange County,
No,
California? Wow, cool. Hello, Marie. Go ahead.
Hi. Well, first of all, I'll be a huge fan of you. But I have one thing before I get to you for Christina. I adore you, Christina. I think you're great. But I kind of question because you're an only child, how your parents might have raised you, because you have such a low opinion of yourself. And I was listening to that game you guys were playing yesterday.
Really fooled me on
words in a
the phone
hurry.
there.
And
You're saying that for an only child who was spoiled, she has a low opinion of herself.
Yeah, I mean, I've had test anxiety myself. I've graduated with an MBA, very high GPA. It took me years to adapt and understand how to, actually study and test the way that I need to succeed. But Jay will also tell you, if you don't start to have a better opinion of yourself, no matter how hard you work, because I know you're a really hard worker, the success isn't going to come to you because
you're talking to me.
Under a cloud.
No,
I'm talking about Christina. But now,
talking to you. Oh, I was about to say,
now
Christina. Listen, here's the sad part.
I can't hear her.
You have to
great
move.
Advice, and you're just
Marie.
bulldozing all over it.
No, I'm not. The sad thing is we're all here at this thing, and it's okay for me, and it's okay for Garrett, it's okay for Kevin, I guess. But it isn't okay for Christina. But Christina's afraid if she moves, if she goes someplace else, and I've even, gotten her interviews and stuff, that if she even gets hired somewhere, that job won't last. Well, that's true. And that's what's sad is if you're single, it doesn't make any difference. You'll get a job.
No, you have the right opinion.
I don't want you to leave, but that's the only way you're going to make it. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you told her to not do the low rent kind of, voiceover stuff, to be more professional, and she said, "Oh, you're an old fogey." It's true. That's not. You were giving her the best advice. And the thing I was going to tell you, because I'm a huge fan and I listen to all your interviews and everything, and stories when you're on Howard.
The sex thing. The sex.
Yeah, that's not low rent. That's a job. It's not.
No, but Christina, he's trying to put you in a light of where other people may hear or listen, and then anyone can do that. Anyone off the streets can do that.
All right, Marie, thank you very much, but we're
not.
No,
wait. I have one more.
We're tired of your advice.
Yeah, one more.
What is
you
it?
compare yourself to Howard a lot, and I've heard a lot of your interviews. And
you're talking. Wait a minute. Are you talking about me now?
Now it's your turn.
Oh, it's
now
me.
he's talking to Jay.
I don't compare myself to Howard Stern at all. I do not.
Yes, you did. And the last few times you said you envy his success and you can't put your finger on what it was. Yep. But you had a lot of success early on.
Shut up. You know what, Gary? You're like an old Italian grandmother. That's right. That's right.
No, you had a lot of
It's what do you say? It's what do your papa say?
You would call in from the golf course and say, "Yep, on my way, just doing it," and you would answer. You did a lot of stuff to screw around. Howard had no life, and now he's reaping the rewards of having no life and no fun, and just having a lot of money and no success. But the very last point I was going to make is when they're telling you to do a podcast or do something else, don't be so adverse to change just because you haven't seen the light of success. I support a lot of podcasts. People that I listen to.
Get rid of her. Get fucking rid of her.
I wanted her to say something about me.
She lied on the phone.
What a raging.
What did she say on the phone?
She wanted to talk about Jay's career, and then all of a sudden
podcast and all that shit. What do you fucking know? You're in Orange County, for Christ's sake.
She sounds like she's some kind of a career coach or something.
You know what? Go to fucking Disneyland and buy some ears and walk around for a while. Jesus Christ.
She was giving great advice to everybody.
Yeah, right.
And I was hoping that she would give Garrett and I some advice.
Marie, I see a garage, a rope, and a chair in your future. That's what I see. Giving advice to everybody.
No, I appreciate
let's go to Jeff, Pennsylvania.
And
by the way, I mean Marie's husband. That's what I mean. Jeff in Pennsylvania. Yes, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I called to talk about the new Adam Lanza audio that's all around the internet.
Yes, I heard about that. Adam Lanza.
Who was it?
Who killed all the kids in Newtown last Christmas.
What's he done? What's he said?
They discovered some audio of him calling into a radio station out in Oregon, I believe. It was kind of, and so they've been playing it all day on all the news shows.
Oh God!
Does
he say crazy gun things?
Yeah, he talked about there was. Remember the monkey?
And this video is brought to you by.
Do you remember the monkey tearing the woman's face off?
Yes.
He kind of compared that to teenage, like a teenager going into a mall, shooting up a mall. Like that. That's the same thing with a monkey would do that, and or very similar to.
He sounds insane. He sounds insane.
Was that pretty much the gist of it?
Yeah, that was
Garrett, do we have it? Do we have availability?
Yeah, they have it. It's all over the internet.
We get the collapsible headphones here, but we're back.
Sorry, we got Greg on the phone.
Oh, Greg.
His name is, he calls him as Greg.
Hi, good. I'm a fan of your writing.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to look up such an old news story, but I couldn't find anything that you said about the topic, and it seems relevant to your interests, so I thought I would bring up Travis the chimp. Do you remember him?
I don't.
Well, he was a highly domesticated chimpanzee who lived in a suburban home in Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And he was raised just like a human child starting from the week he was born. By the time that he was 14 years old, which would be somewhere around age 20 in human years, he slept in the bed, he took his own baths, he dressed himself, he brushed his teeth with an electric toothbrush.
Really? When was this?
Well, this happened in early 2009.
Oh.
What an idiot this is.
He ate his meals at a table and enjoyed human foods like ice cream. And he used a remote control to watch television and liked baseball games. And he even used a computer to look at pictures from the internet. And it goes without saying that Travis was very overweight. He was 200 pounds when he should have been around the low hundreds. And he was actually taking Xanax.
Amazing.
I couldn't find any information about why he was taking it, but it just seems to say a lot that he was giving it at all. And basically, I think Travis wasn't really any different than a mentally handicapped human child. But anyway, one day in February 2009, he was acting very agitated, and at some point grabbed his owner's car keys, went outside and started leaping from car to car, apparently wanting to go for a car ride. And he was acting very aggressively, so his owner called her friend over to get her to help him to calm down and go back inside. And once she arrived, he immediately attacked her, and his owner tried to stop him, but couldn't, and she even resorted to stabbing him with a knife, but nothing worked. And she said that after she stabbed him, he looked at her as if to say, "Why'd you do that to me, Mom?" Because apparently that was what their relationship was like, no different than between a human mother and a human child. So after the stabbing, she called the police, who arrived 12 minutes after the attack, at which point her friend was pretty close to dead. And once the cruiser came up, Travis went over to it, tried to open the locked passenger door. He smashed off the side view mirror, went over to the driver's door, opened it, and the cop shot him. He fled back into the house, where he went to his playroom and bled to death. And this might not seem very relevant, but I'm bringing it up because afterward, everyone was condemning his owner for saying how irresponsible she was for raising a chimp like it was a child, and that she should have known something like this would happen because chimps aren't supposed to be living in civilization. They're supposed to be living in the wild among each other. But their criticism stops there, and the implication is that there's no way anything could have gone wrong in his life if he had been living in civilization as a human rather than a chimp.
Indeed.
Is in Travis, because he brings up questions about this whole process of child raising. Isn't something which just happens to gently exist without us having to do anything, because every newborn child...
what's the Jeff, what's the gist of this? What does he finally say? Go shoot up a mall? Is that what he says?
No, basically he says that the upbringing of the chimp in our society, that his violent outburst was understandable, and that he kind of relates that to why these teenage kids are doing the same thing, because of their environment that they're raised under is why the violence exists.
He left that behind.
They just discovered that, I think, in the last couple of days.
They must have gone through his phone records and seen who he called, and then figured out this was some anarchy radio, and then I assume they asked him for the date he called, the recording of the show.
Well, that's out there.
Anarchy Radio? Where is Anarchy Radio?
I think it was in
Oregon College.
Oregon College,
yeah.
Right.
Oregon College.
What I love about...
the announcer said, he goes, "I remember the caller, but I remember the voice. He seemed like he was trying to disguise his voice in some guy."
Oh, bullshit.
But I do remember...
What I love about these people that are on these alternative radio stations or whatever, they know nothing of the world. Like, that
all
was
he
the
did was
biggest
say,
story.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No, but that was the biggest story on television, on radio, all over the United States. You couldn't miss that story of the woman whose face was ripped off by the chimpanzee.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy goes, "No, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is." Well, of course not, because you're too busy with fucking anarchy radio. An anarchist.
Yeah, how can you miss a story where a chimp rips off a woman's face? I mean,
because they don't
that's not
read
everybody's
the
right.
regular-
You know, you're going through the internet, you go, oh, I got to look at that.
Yeah. Pick up a fucking People magazine,
I wanted to say also that I was looking, and Potsy from Happy Days is a Heimlich.
What?
His real name is
Anson
William
Williams
Heimlich.
is a Heimlich?
Anson Williams' real name is Anson Heimlich?
I used to have a crush on Potsy, okay?
Yep.
Can I admit
Look
that?
up. It's in there. It's like an uncle or a
That's
second cousin.
really, really bad.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was thinking about this earlier. People don't like you talking about liking men.
I know, but I just want to say I had a crush on. I had a
Well,
crush on Potsy. I did.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
You're like a kid with a new toy. Look, I'm gay. Look at
No,
my
it's
toy.
just
I'm
it's
gay.
just an observation, all right? You've
Look,
had
I
crushes
just got-
on.
Look, I
you
just
know.
became gay. Just became gay.
Yeah, he talks about milky white breasts.
Yeah.
on a
Jeff,
regular
thank you very
basis.
much. Jeff of Pennsylvania. That's very creepy. But, that poor kid, shut in. The mother had all the guns.
Oh,
and
the
everything
mother
else.
was the worst. you
Yeah.
know, buying
Now,
a
that
gun.
kid is alive?
No, he killed himself.
He killed himself.
Yes.
Have you heard that? The mother doesn't seem like she tried really hard.
No, she
to help
bought
him.
him guns and ammunition. She was insane to go out and buy him guns and ammunition.
She was trying to get him committed, Garrett, and then she was buying him guns and stuff.
But she was trying to help him and anything.
That's
she
not
could.
helping when you buy, somebody that needs help.
You don't know that's going to happen though. Like your son is so detached. You're like anything I could do to be his parent.
People wouldn't even
fine.
buy me a gun, okay? And I've got a lot more sense than Adam Lanza.
And then she finally
let
left
me
home.
say that we've been getting a pretty constant stream of comments about Garrett, and I didn't know when I was going to read this, but I thought I would bring it up now. This comes from Lisa.
Oh boy,
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
No, this comes from Andrew.
No.
Dear Jay, listener Lisa was right on the money when she said something is wrong with Garrett.
I went home, I listened to that twice.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was good.
You recently read a story about some maniac who was firing a cannon at his neighbor. Garrett blamed the victim and then went completely off when you demurely suggested that the maniac was displaying poor behavior. Then the other day, you interviewed that washed-up, full-bush porno guy from the 80s. Garrett's question to him was, I noticed there was a lot of incest porn back then. What was that about?
I'm still trying to find that answer. No one, all the
wait a
big
minute.
stars in the day were in incest porn. It was the weirdest thing.
What big stars?
Wait a
The
minute.
big porn stars.
The big porn stars.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Garrett,
It wasn't
Garrett,
like some throw-off
wait.
amateur stuff. It
You
was
got to
all
hear the
big-
next line. You got to hear the next line of the email.
What's the next
even
line?
the slimy guest was creeped out.
He was in some of them. That's what everyone just tries to
All
shun
right,
this
let
whole
me.
incest
All
thing.
right,
It's so
let
weird.
me. Please don't shout the person down. The last straw was last week.
Oh dear.
He had the timidity to question the comely Christina's femininity. Perhaps if she looked more like Garrett's mama, he would find her more attractive. Something is wrong with Garrett. Yours truly, Andy. Yes, Garrett.
What is wrong with me? That's what I like to know.
I don't think there's anything wrong.
There's a
with you.
lot
That's what a lot of
wrong with
people want
With
to know,
the cannon
Garrett.
guy, I said I could understand how someone could be so mad at their neighbors they would do this. I didn't say
Really?
it was like the
that
best
they shoot
option
a
to
cannon
do or
day
I
and
would
night.
do it.
They'd shoot a cannon day and night.
All I say is I can understand. Not that it's the right thing or it's the best thing or it's a good thing. All I say is I can understand. And people get so mad that I can understand people. People just try to act like they're so high and mighty and above everybody and they know what's right and wrong and I'm stupid. It's like, screw you guys.
Well, I see we've really touched a nerve.
Well, he's been getting this heat all day. You know, on the internet, he gets the heat from people saying how creepy he is.
Yeah, some guy said because I said that it's hard not to look at a woman breastfeeding. I'm creepy. But then he said, I have self-restraint, which means he has a hard time not looking at the woman's breast when she's breastfeeding. So
What you looking at, Willis?
Same thing.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But this is what happens every time. Everyone just goes, "Oh, okay, all right,"
but,
moves on.
Garrett,
there's no
Garrett,
way.
you're right.
Well,
you're
I think Garrett is a very good man.
contrarian.
I think Garrett's very good.
Yeah, I'm sick of defending him, though, because he throws me right under the bus.
Wait a minute now. Listen, I'm not without detractors. This comes from Mojica. Jay, yesterday you said Alex Rodriguez should go back to Puerto Rico. He is a native New Yorker born of Dominican parents. Please do not exile him to Puerto Rico. We get blamed enough for scumbags. So, just throw that out there. Dear Jay, your password problems. Remember, I couldn't get passwords?
Right, on Facebook.
Well, you need a strong password. I work in the IT security field, and I feel the best passwords are the ones that are totally unrelated words, capitalized, separated by a number, and a special character. Yeah, I know. I don't want to have my password capital A 473 GWW2.
They make you use a capital, and they make you use a symbol and a number sometimes.
Yeah. You know what my passwords have been forever? 111111. Those have been my passwords forever. Okay.
Well, those are the most popular passwords, and people break into them all the time. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Here's one.
Zoom, bing, bing,
6.
Walla, walla, wing, wong,
lowercase y. This is from somebody else. 6. Lowercase y. Lowercase h. Lowercase n. Uppercase m. Uppercase j. Uppercase u. Question mark. That'll go through. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you remember that one?
Straight up and down the middle of the keyboard.
You have to.
This comes from Mark. Dear Jay, do you know Don Geronimo? You sound like him. You have similar voices, but you're a better announcer. I've heard of him. I don't know where he did. He work in New York? Don Geronimo?
Yeah, Don and Mike show. They were kind of the East Coast.
Oh, from a long time ago. They were like Ron and Fez, weren't they?
They were on the station with Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez when they were all in New York. Yeah, but they came out of D.C.
Mm-hmm. But when guys have a name like that, it's a tough one. There's a guy in L.A. who is Shotgun Tom Kelly or somebody. You gotta put that radio name in front of it. It's like being the Big Bopper or something like that. Somebody sent you something, Garrett. Hi, Garrett. They sent you a thing about bank robbers. They're trying to see that one, Garrett?
No.
Yeah, that's for you. I'm not going to read that. Check this out, Garrett. It says, customer fights back during a bank robbery. See, not everybody, says bad things about you.
No, I don't mind people saying bad things, but then when I explain my side, all they just say is, "Oh, you're stupid and crazy." Like there's no real rational argument at all. That's what I don't get. So then who's wrong? Am I right? Am I crazy? And I don't know, because everyone just says, "Oh, you're stupid," and then that's how the whole discussion.
Do you believe the pictures that they say come from the New York Times of women with a full bush at American Apparel? I don't believe them.
What?
I saw them on the internet.
Nope, all the women now are shaving their bushes now, aren't they?
No. I mean, it's a stupid. It's like, what's that thing they use in the movies to cover the man's penis? What's it called?
What is that? American
Apparel's Ryan Holiday says the display was created for that store specifically.
And you can see
on
your
the
bush?
Lower East Side. It's gigantic.
So it's a mannequin with a big bush and wearing a sweater or something?
No, they're wearing granny
panties.
wearing
panties.
Granny panties.
Yeah. Is it real?
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
No, it's a kind of a...
Looks like a Hirschfeld drawing.
Yeah.
But
I
the
don't know why they would
also in the window
they
have
made
a
it for
bush,
that one
right?
store.
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you did that if you did that in almost any city in the United States except for maybe L.A. or San Francisco.
Oh, that's horrible. Oh, my God.
They would close the store. You know, the store would be completely closed.
You know, I saw my mother-in-law's bush one time, you know, and she had...
what was the scene? Why were you exposed
We were
to
on
it?
the beach, and she wore her bathing suit, and I looked down, and I could see all the hair coming out of, you know, around her, you know, her bathing suit. And
God,
it was all
the 12-year-old pool party.
and it was all gray, and I was like, oh, I don't want to go through this.
I remember seeing my like 20-year-old cousin's bush at the beach, and it was just like, why wear a bikini if you're not going to trim around that area? And it was
Exactly.
I remember being really young and taking inventory to see why some had and some didn't, and I was part of obviously because I'm Italian.
I remember going to
horrible.
a pool party, and the rich girl from was dating the rich guy from our high school, and we were going, and all the guys are trying to look down her bra and everything else, and we're all Italian or Spanish or whatever, and she had her bra, her bathing suit top kind of separated from, and she was bent over, and there were hairs around her nipples.
Oh,
and a buddy, we both see it at the same time. And we look at it and go, oh God. Oh, God. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. Poor darling. But she was really rich, and she had a pool, so we didn't say anything. Vistaprint.com creates all sorts of amazing designs for business. Their business cards are done in-house, and they're offering listeners a great deal. 250 of these high-quality premium cards, $10, and they'll ship them for free. Fonts, colors, text size, location of your text, whatever. You can add images. I mean, you can really make a good card. And your own design, you can upload or print their designs that they have, and you can personalize the backside. You can simply match the colors, images to the font or the front or whatever you want to do. Personalize it. Make them appointment cards, tip cards, calendars. The possibilities are endless. Vistaprint offers a foil finishing option, making those cards sparkle and shine. 250 of these incredible premium cards for only $10. Go to Vistaprint. Put in the promotional code J. Thomas in the cart, and when you're checking it out, make sure you take a look at their other quality stocks. The mattes come in standard, but you can upgrade to premium matte or glossy, recycled or standard glossy. 250 premium business cards, $10. That includes shipping. It's Vistaprint.com. Put in the promotional code J. Thomas in the cart to get this offer. We'll be right back.
The Jay Thomas Show. For idiots, by idiots. Non-stop idiot action. The Jay Thomas Show. He's the afternoon guy. On Indy. Sirius XM 104. And on the Sirius XM app for smartphones. Indy.
At Jay Thomas Show at Gmail, Jessica says, my sister and I have been driving around, and we have lost count of the amount of times the Heimlich maneuver has been done to save my sister. She chokes all the time. I love this song. Turn this up. We're listening to the show together. I had to pull over. We were laughing so hard. Well, really, that's nice. Sister's almost dead. We're laughing our asses off. I know you've been joking about a birthday show, but it would be great. Please consider it. Yeah, I guess so. We'll think about it in the summertime. Turn this up. Is this Curtis Mayfield? Yeah, turn it up. Boom. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. Wow. Once I was doing a show in Nashville when I was a disc jockey, and Curtis Mayfield was the star of the show. And after it was over, I went backstage, and nobody around, and I guess I was looking for my $50 or something, right? And I opened the door, and there's Curtis Mayfield and a couple other guys sitting there counting just stacks of cash, stacks, and told me to get out and brought me my $50. You know what happened to him? I believe a light stanchion fell on him and paralyzed him. Yeah.
Was he
kind of like a Marvin Gaye type of guy?
Now, was the cash like he's Chuck Berry and only gets paid in cash? or this was some illegal
It
activity?
was people that had paid cash to get into the concert. That night.
I see.
Yeah. It was Curtis Mayfield and a bunch of people, and I worked at a top 40 station, WKDA. And, I went downstairs, didn't see anybody looking around, and opened this door. Man, it was just stacks of money. Wow. My $50 was in there somewhere. So that was that. Let's go to Chris, who is in Virginia Beach. Yes, Chris, go ahead. NFL football player Nate Jackson, coming up in a few minutes, played 5 years for the Broncos. Of course, his book, Getting Up Slow, is about all the injuries and all the crap. But amazingly, he says he never saw anybody take steroids in the NFL. Well, they wouldn't show you.
Well, according to A-Rod, he had these, I guess those weren't steroids, maybe those were other things, but he had gummies that he would eat right before the game.
Those are steroids.
Those are steroids. I don't know if they were testosterone or steroids. So.
Right. But, there were guys that would rub cream on their arms and stuff that had, testosterone in. Yes, Chris of Virginia Beach. What is it?
Hey, Jay. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. You recovering good from your neck surgery?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm doing fine. Thank you. Yes, I am.
I missed you on the Letterman show.
All right. Thanks.
I'm from Milwaukee. I used to go to the Green Bay games when they used to play at the Milwaukee County Stadium, the old Brewer Stadium. Mm-hmm. And it was a blast. Never been to Green Bay, though. But another thing with the Heimlich maneuver.
Wait a minute. You lived in Milwaukee. You were raised in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And never, ever did you venture to see the literal...
That's 4 hours away.
I mean, really, the literal nirvana of that state. That's odd to me. Why is that?
I was raised by a father who didn't care two shits about sports. Or raising me. For that matter.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you care about sports now?
Oh, yeah, I love football. I used to really love basketball and the Milwaukee Brewers. Mm-hmm. I graduated high school in '83 and moved to Virginia Beach, and I've been here ever since. So,
well, you know what? Who was the guy Paley that owns CBS?
William Paley.
William Paley owns CBS, and I went to a dinner when I was on CBS. I go to this big dinner, and Morley Safer was there, and who was what a bore. Oh my God, just wouldn't stop. Talking and telling us how great he was with the 60 Minutes and who he met and, who gives a shit. And I'm sitting next to William Paley Jr. He owned or he was running some radio stations or something, or a TV station, in Washington, D.C. And I don't know that he had anything to do with CBS anymore. And his dad had passed away, and his mother had been a famous model. And there are books written about this kind of bad childhood that he had. His dad, CBS at one time, bought the New York Yankees.
That's
Did you
right.
know that?
Yes.
And they were terrible at that time. And so I'm sitting next to William Paley Jr. I, knew the minutia of that.
And didn't Steinbrenner buy the Yankees from Paley?
From CBS.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there with the guy. This is a bad dad story. And so Paley had written in the book that his son had come with him to work and had watched Gilligan's Island, which his dad thought was terrible. And the son was laughing so hard at Gilligan's Island and something else that became huge hits that he put those on the network because of this. And so, I did that as a little opening, thing. And Paley said to me, yeah, what's funny about that story? Everybody quotes it. He says, it's the only day ever my dad ever took me to CBS. I said, he was the president for 30 years. He goes, yeah. I know. And he says, I'll tell you something else. My dad and CBS owned the New York Yankees, and I never have been to a Yankees game. And I thought, oh my, that's amazing to me how weird parents are, how.
And who died today?
Who?
Russell Johnson. He played the professor on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, my God. Yeah. How old was he?
89.
Russell? What do they do after the show's over? He never works again.
Well, he lived in Toluca Lake. I remember. Well, I don't think he lived far from Toluca Lake because that's where I lived.
They didn't make any
California.
money. They made no money.
He would come to Timmy Nolan's every so often to have a drink,
Right.
and I remember seeing him there. And his daughter was also. I think he did pretty well.
What did he do? No, not from that show.
Probably went to conventions and signed.
Yeah, they probably did that. But they made those shows before residuals. So
right.
All right.
So they got
thank you, Chris in Virginia Beach, who was raised by an evil dad. Let's go to Mark of Toronto. Yes, Mark, go ahead.
Hi, Jay. I'm just going to let you know that it's not called the Heimlich maneuver anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called now?
You there?
What's
Yeah,
it
I'm
called?
listening.
Yeah, it's called chest thrust. The Heimlich family didn't want their name associated with it anymore.
Really?
Really. Every time we get taught first aid at work, they discourage the use of Heimlich maneuver, and now chest thrust is the more appropriate.
What do you call it? The what?
Chest thrust.
The chest thrust? Well, I'm going to stick with the Heimlich maneuver.
You know what?
Do you still
I'm going to
do
say
a
it right
finger
now.
sweep?
I do a finger
spit. I spit on the Heimlich family. How about that?
Well, and do you think Marianne ever played with Russell Johnson?
All right, get rid of him. You know who was miserable? You know who was absolutely miserable because she had actually had kind of a movie career. The big, tall, good-looking woman. She was miserable. She did that show, and it wasn't at a time when you could bust out. The Flying Nun busted out, but no one could really bust out. And she's still alive.
Well, look at Jim Backus. Jim Backus worked all the way until the day he died,
Well, he did Mr. Magoo.
Yeah. But he did voiceovers.
But he didn't do a lot of movies. Yeah,
he was in he was in like one of the greatest movies of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
With James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause. He played his
and he wore an apron, and James Dean hit him, and that movie was condemned by the Catholic Church. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because of that very scene. Kate, who's in Washington, D.C. or the state of Washington, Kate?
State of Washington, Jay.
Yeah,
I always get nervous. I think it's my Kate.
Yeah, no, God, or I'd have to do the whole Ira thing. Russell Johnson lives here. I live on Bainbridge Island, Washington, and that's where he lives. And I just saw him at the Safeway about 2 weeks ago. So he's been living here for I don't even know, like 15 years.
Kate, he's dead.
I know. He's dead today, but he hasn't been dead before that.
Was he in the hospital?
So you would see him at the Safeway, and you live on this island. Did he have a nice house? Where did he live in one of those houses?
He had a beautiful house. No, he had a beautiful house, and his wife.
Really?
And he was a beloved.
How did he
man.
get the money? How did he get? Because I'm telling you, they didn't make any money. They didn't make a penny. They made very little money.
He had a lovely house, and he's very beloved on the island here. I mean, he's a local character, and he was a really wonderful, nice guy.
Was he always trying to get off the island? Could he figure out how to get off?
Well, guess what? He's off the island now. Now, do they bury you on the island, or do they take you to the mainland to get rid of you?
Yeah, I mean, it was sad, but just so you guys know, that's where he was living, is Bainbridge Island, Washington.
Is anybody left alive from Gilligan's Island?
Sure, absolutely.
No, Tina Louise and Mary Ann, right?
Yeah, they're both.
They're not long. I mean, they're not looking great. I mean, he was an older guy.
Who played the really pretty one? What's her name?
Tina
she lives
Louise.
in Nashville.
No. Tina Louise.
No, the little one.
He thinks the brunette is the pretty one.
Her name was.
That never happens.
Oh, I forget her name, but she lives in Nashville.
I did like her. Yeah, she's nice.
Well, we're going to talk some NFL football. Well, thank you, Katie. That's really great. I like that. The professor lived there, and now maybe they're going to freeze his ass at the Safeway. Coming up, NFL football.
Dawn Wells.
Enjoy.
Society's oddities played like a fiddle. The Afternoon Drive Show on Indy Sirius XM 104 and on the Sirius XM app for smartphones.
Go to Nate Jackson, or actually go to Nathan Sirius on Twitter. The book is Slow Getting Up, the story of NFL survival from the bottom of the pile. Nate, welcome to the Jay Thomas Show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
We're good. What's funny is I left your book out. My wife, who's a big Green Bay Packer fan and stuff, and wants to know all she can about football in the last couple of years, read your book cover to cover, said, I didn't understand it, didn't know a lot of the stuff, but no, she really did. She read it cover to cover. And I said, well, that's what it's like. But I guess her first question was, well, okay, it is rough, and I played, small college ball and had everything operated on, and you've had, oh, God, all kind of injuries. You kind of know that going in, you're going to get the shit beaten out of you. But for some reason, we do it anyway, right, Nate?
Yeah. Football is a powerful thing. It's almost like a drug for us, For me, the violence, the danger was never a drawback or a setback. It was something that pulled me towards it. I liked the roughness of it. I liked the physical contact. And me recounting it in the book was just trying to show the fans really what the guys go through with their bodies, but it was never something that made me shy away from it. I loved it.
Dislocated your shoulder multiple times, separated both shoulders, broke your tibia, broke your ribs, broke your fingers, tore your medial collateral ligament in the right knee, tore your groin off the bone. Now, they're not calling it, they started calling it a groin injury again. They were calling that an athletic, they changed the name.
I've never heard of a groin off the bone. What does that mean?
Oh, God, I haven't had that since I went to the Palm and had groin off the bone.
It falls right off the bone. It melts in your mouth.
It sure does.
What's funny is I remember once I separated my shoulder and I had it, taped up and everything else. And so we were going to play some game in junior college. And I said, all these guys in the pros, they play. I took the bandage off and when my arm fell, I collapsed. I fainted and didn't even know the game was played. You guys now tore the groin off the bone. Do they go down there and operate on that area?
Well, they
I had a procedure done on it called a PRP injection, which is pretty common these days. What they do is they take out a couple pints of your own blood and they put it in a centrifuge machine. It spins it, separates the properties, the good, the platelet-rich plasma, and they take that good goop and they inject it right back into the side of the injury.
Right into the groin.
Right into the groin. And
Jesus Christ, what does that feel like to have a needle?
Instant hard-on.
My God.
Instant erection.
Yeah. Oh,
no, it was, they sedated me for that one.
And you had your hamstring tore off the bone twice.
Yeah. I had surgery.
Now, you've had all sorts of concussions. Are you a part of this settlement, which a judge the other day said that $751 million wasn't enough? Are you a part of that?
No, I wasn't part of the original group of players who filed suit, but all former players are eligible to get some of that money if they want. Now, you don't have to be part of that original 5,000 or however many were named. You just have to go through it and go through all the testing and all the neutral doctor visits and all the psych tests and all that stuff. But like you said, they just determined that that's not enough money. So who knows what's going to happen?
Well, so in your book, Slow Getting Up, a story of NFL survival from the bottom of the pile, you played Division III, which isn't even scholarship, but you did well. How big a guy are you?
I'm right now 6'3", 215, 220.
Oh, you're not that big.
And when they moved you to tight end, Mike Shanahan of the Broncos wanted you to be a tight end. How did you get to be 240 without using the juice? I don't get how you did that.
The human will is a powerful thing. If you decide you're going to gain weight and you start eating more, you start lifting heavier, you tell yourself that you've got to be this certain weight. The weight came on pretty quickly for me. Keeping it on was the difficult part,
And when you're putting on that weight, when you're putting on all that weight, you're also putting on muscle because you're eating a lot of protein. Is that how you do that?
Both. Muscle, I ended up putting on a little fat. I was carrying a little bit around my belly that didn't need to be there, but for the most part...
25 pounds? Wait a minute, you gained 25 pounds in a few months. Were you using a human growth hormone?
No illegal banned substances, just a lot of food, a lot of Myoplex shakes, and an iron will, I guess.
What kind of shakes?
Myoplex?
What is Myoplex?
Myoplex are these pre-made shakes that you can buy at the grocery store or whatever, and they have those at our facility. But I would actually take one of those, a couple of them home at night.
And they have protein in them?
No. Yeah, they have a ton of protein, but I would put a couple extra eggs in it.
Yeah.
I would put ice cream in it. I would put chocolate sauce, and I would drink one of those before I went to bed. Now that wreaks hell on your system. I was crapping quite a bit. But, I gained the weight and I bulked up, but my body hated it. I didn't like being that heavy. And those injuries, those groin, hamstring injuries that you guys were talking about, it was a product of me being too heavy and trying to, summon these movements on a body that didn't want to be that heavy.
Yeah.
You know, we've read, and there have been so many books about the NFL and how shitty it can be or whatever. And you say you saw nobody taking steroids when you were in the NFL, which we all find odd because they're all so friggin' huge.
Yeah,
that it seems impossible.
We can't believe it.
So did they just did it privately? You think?
Well, if someone is doing steroids in the NFL, they're keeping it to themselves for a variety of reasons. Like in baseball, you come into the clubhouse and everybody, and the guys would pull you aside and say, this is what we're taking, this is what we're doing. But in football, it's hand-to-hand combat every day. Guys are smashing into each other. They're basically fighting out there on the field. So if I think that you have to do steroids to beat me out on the field, I lose respect for you. And so these guys, if they're doing it, they're keeping it to themselves. For that reason, it doesn't matriculate through the locker room like it would in baseball or other sports. And we did have comprehensive steroid testing all year long. Randomly walk into the locker room one day and there's a note hanging in your locker. It says that you've been selected for the random steroid screening. You have 4 hours to produce a sample. And so the tests are pretty stringent. And I don't know. I'm not lying when I say I never saw it, never heard guys talking about it. Never heard guys doing it. I did take HGH after I was cut by the Broncos, trying to get back in the league, trying to get a hamstring fixed. But from my personal experience with that drug, it wasn't a miracle drug for me. It didn't heal me. It didn't turn me into Superman. I was pretty muscular when I was doing it, but I was training real hard anyway, and my body ached pretty badly while I was doing it.
What is that supposed to do? What is HGH is supposed to make you heal faster?
That's what they say. I mean, I learned about it through the media, really.
Yeah.
If they say it's heal faster, get stronger, keep you younger. I don't really know. To me, it didn't.
Why don't they let ball players use it under a doctor's supervision? Because I can go today to some doctor somewhere, Vegas or whatever, and you see these pictures of these 60-something-year-old guys, Dr. Strong or somebody, and he's got
Dr. Wheel. You've seen this on the airline magazine all the time, right? The guy's all built up, and
and his dick is working like a 25-year-old and all that stuff. It's like, why have they never said, look, fuck you, we're gonna shoot these guys up a little bit, but under a doctor's supervision? I mean, I don't know.
Just so they can get healthy faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of weird standards that we want to hold our athletes to. We want to believe it's a sacred institution, and so we create a lot of rules that these guys have to live by, and we hold them under our thumbs in a lot of ways, and when they step outside of it, we punish them. But they're human beings, they're just trying to hold on to their jobs. A lot of the reasons why guys end up doing steroids or HGH or whatever is because it's fear,
They don't want to retire. They want to continue to play.
Exactly.
Well, it's like if in show business we could take something and stay in it longer.
That's why I'm starting to do blow now, so I'm funnier.
You're doing nothing but cocaine.
There you go, man. There you go.
All right.
I'm doing a bump
Nate
right
Jackson's, slow getting up, the story of NFL survival from the bottom of the pile. I want to say that in the NFL, when I'm watching a ball game, people talk about race relations all the time. The NFL is 65 to 70% black. So you were a minority in the locker room, correct, Nate?
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
You're a white guy, right?
Yes, sir. White.
All right.
He looks white
Yeah.
from the picture.
And so what's funny is that of course in basketball it's 90% and everything else. It's something that's never really talked about. Because, for years, and when I played, we had 2 or 3 black guys or 5 or whatever on a team, and it was, 95% white guys. So we didn't have to, did
And the
you
quarterback was never black.
No, never happened. But when you were playing, you were a minority. Do you ever remember thinking, this is a hard group for me to hook on to, or I don't really have friends in this group? What was that like?
No, I never really felt that at all. And I was a wide receiver. I came into the league as a receiver, and I was always the only white guy in the group. We maybe had one other in training camp, but as the season started, I was the only white guy in the group, and so. But I never thought of it that way. The locker room really is a great equalizer because you see white guys, black guys, they get and they leave. So strong around, and you get to know each other much deeper than skin color, and so it really is a kind of a progressive environment as far as race relations goes. I got to have a lot of really close black friends, and got to break down any kind of preconceived stereotypes I had about black people. Those are pounded to dust. I don't really see those anymore, and I can thank football for it.
Do you know any gay players in the league?
No, I didn't know any gay players. We had over the years there were suspicions of guys who were gay or whatever, but no one talked about it. No one really cared. I don't think.
Would it be a big thing, do you think, in the, would that be a problem in the locker room? Because everybody knows who's gay. If you're in a locker room, you'll know somebody who's gay.
I don't think if they really knew somebody was gay that it would be okay, Nate. I don't.
Well, it's weird because there's a difference between kind of just thinking that this guy's probably gay or this guy declaring it and making it a thing. Like, I am gay. I am the gay player. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if anybody's ready for that. Not just the locker room, but the front office, the media. Who knows how the whole system would react to someone declaring their homosexuality. But as far as like minding your own business and keeping to yourself, I don't know. I don't think that it would be a huge problem. But if it was someone, running around the locker room saying, "I'm gay, you guys, I'm gay," that might be a problem.
That would be Kevin. That would be me.
Yes.
Yeah,
with a red towel. Yeah.
With a red towel.
Nate Jackson is here. Listen, I wasn't able to read the book. My wife grabbed it first, but she loved it. Slow Getting Up, the story of NFL survival from the bottom of the pile. Well, of course. Peter of Missouri, what's your question for Nate Jackson?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Nate, because I know the NFL, you play the least amount of years than any other sport. What kind of pension do you get for 5 full seasons in the NFL?
Well, the pension system in the NFL, you have to play basically 4 accredited seasons to receive a pension, and it doesn't kick in until you're 55 years old. So when you're 55 years old, you start getting a monthly check based on how many years you played. If you played for 5 years, you probably get about a $2,000 a month check. I played for six years, so I think I got about a $2,300 check a month starting when I'm 55.
Okay.
What was it like playing in Denver with the altitude? Was it anything different, or you?
Yeah, it definitely was. Right when you get there, like I got traded to Denver Broncos in the middle of training camp of 2003, and I was a 49er before then, and I went straight to Denver. And that first practice, even the first couple of weeks of practice, it takes quite a while to catch your breath. Yeah. It ends up being an advantage for them because they're used to it, and the visiting teams who come in and have to play right away, they lose their breath quicker.
They're a little slower.
Yeah, exactly. You're walking upstairs, you go out, get out of breath, you get drunk faster at that altitude when you first get there. So it takes some adjusting.
But so why aren't the Broncos better on the road, since they're used to thin air, and then they get down to sea level and they'd be able to have so much more oxygen, blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. There were some times when we went down to sea level and played in Florida, and we were just running. I never got tired, and I felt really, really, really good. I don't know if it translates in the records or what, but
because I know MMA guys, they like to train in Colorado or high elevations and stuff. It helps them with their stamina.
what about the ball?
Kenya.
You know, you play golf or something in Colorado, and the ball goes 1.5 miles. When the opposing quarterback would come, do they overthrow more players in Denver than normal? Do you think?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't noticed that, but when I actually
I haven't either. They look pretty. I mean, Brady looks pretty damn comfortable. You know what I mean? They all look very comfortable. All of them. Yeah, all of them.
Those guys are such refined passers. You know, they're so accurate that they can make a quick adjustment. Maybe in warm-ups they see it getting away from them a little bit. They make a subtle adjustment and all as well. But when I first got to Denver, I never used gloves as a receiver. I was always just bare hands, even in San Francisco. But I got to Denver, and the altitude, the ball was jumping on me a little bit. It's also a little drier there, so the moisture doesn't collect in the ball. And so I put on gloves there, and I never took them off.
Now, you know what? We're amazed when you're a viewer. We're amazed at the catches that these guys make, you know, in inches by the pylon, and we're amazed at the way the great quarterbacks fit the ball in. And it doesn't seem like you guys have enough time to practice this, this type of precision. But you must, because I'm this kid, you know, all of them. I can't believe how everybody's covered in the NFL. Everybody. You go down it is amazing is it just that everybody's so fabulous, or are you guys practicing that type of precision hours and hours a week?
You know, it's a little bit of both. You can't prepare for every little scenario and every catch and every angle, but they practice a lot and they play a lot of catch. They run every route. You know, they try to prepare for every scenario they'll have, and their hand-eye coordination is so good. They understand, you know, how the ball is coming out of his hand, where it's going to come down. They have amazing field awareness, and the subconscious takes over in those moments, and you are aware of things without really knowing you're being aware of them. You catch the ball because it's a reflex. You don't have to think about it. Where your feet are on the field, and you have to.
How do you keep your toes? In, you know, Garrett, you see this, you're in the corner, and they're little tiny, these are big giant, you're 6'3" or something. You keep your little toes in the field of play. It's almost ballerina-like. It
is.
And I know from playing, you know, small-time football, we always practice sideline catches and all of that. But then it is amazing, and these guys are covered, Nate. There's a guy hanging on your ass, and the ball gets in there, and it's really amazing. And then the difference between the great quarterbacks and the guys that don't really make it is a matter of inches. You know, they're all great coming up, right?
Yeah, it really is. These quarterbacks, the very, very tippy top of the mountain, like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, those guys are amazing. But there's amazing quarterbacks out there who are sitting on the bench, you know, that just are lacking that tiny, tiny thing, or just haven't had the opportunity yet, or whatever. It's such a fine line between turning that corner and turning into a superstar and being stuck on the bench or whatever. But they have incredible skills. It's pretty impressive to watch these guys throw and catch. And they dedicate their whole lives to it, though. You know, they're out there every day. In the off season, they start in late March, early April, and it's every day running these routes, getting the timing down, getting the awareness down. And so it's I don't know. I really enjoy watching that passing game. It really makes me happy.
Are you going to start coaching?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question. Yeah. You want to be around it? Why don't you coach?
I don't like the at least as far as the NFL goes. 4 hours every single day, you're sitting in a chair in meetings. And these are just the players. The coaches are there longer. They're putting together the game plans. They're watching film. They're sleeping in their offices. I think the preparation side of football has gotten out of control. It's turned way too conceptual in my mind. It's like these, you know, overly complicated concepts that coaches
it's like watching. It's like writing a television show, Jay. It's gotten overcomplicated.
Well, you know what? When they write sitcoms, these guys and women, they stay 2 nights a week till 3, 4 in the morning. I mean,
going over it and over it, like, you know. It's so fucking annoying.
Nate Jackson's book is "Slow Getting Up: The Story of NFL Survival from the Bottom of the Pile." Who was the greatest quarterback that you caught passes from?
That's a tough one. I'd say probably Jake Plummer. I had Jake Plummer and Jake
Really?
Cutler. Well, I had only two. My career in Denver was Jake Plummer and Jay Cutler. Both of them are really good quarterbacks, really different quarterbacks. And then I've played for Jeff Garcia a little bit in San Francisco.
I loved him. I loved Jeff Garcia. You know, I always thought he was gay.
There have been a lot of rumors about that over the years.
But then he married the model. He married a Victoria's Secret model, a Playboy model.
That
They're so
doesn't
fucking.
matter. That does not
You know
matter.
what? Those models are so dumb, Nate, they wouldn't know a gay guy from a straight guy. They don't know anything. They're so fucking dumb. Now, what about the women? Are they waiting for you after the game? I mean, you know, you write about that. You've got some, what do you call them something? God.
Jersey Chasers, maybe?
Jersey Chasers, that's right. And approachable vampires.
That's what Chris Christie calls them, too.
A mob of bloodthirsty Jersey Chasers. So you would come out. Now, were you afraid they wanted to get knocked up by you? Were you careful that when you put your did you put a helmet on your dingo? Yeah.
Yeah. I was heavily protected, heavily fortified going into those uncharted waters for sure. I mean, they were. You could see they're hungry. They knew where we hung out. They knew what bars we went to, and you'd start to see the same women, the same girls coming around, and it loses its luster eventually. You know, those types of perks kind of. I don't know. There's a law of diminishing returns there, where these groupies don't really do it for you anymore. But right when you get in the league and it's new for you, it's pretty exciting, and you'd be a fool not to take advantage of it.
This is from the book. Women have emerged from the fog, pulled toward us by our oversized pituitaries and our caveman libidos, vibrating the floorboards like a Dr. Dre bass line. Wow, Garrett, you're going to love this book, Garrett. You're going to love this. Wow.
What was
now
the,
with everything wide open, arms, doors, and legs. Wow. Wow.
What was the first big thing you bought? I know you didn't have like a huge contract or anything, but you still get paid pretty well. Did you buy one big thing, your first contract?
I bought a car. I bought a Denali. Yeah, I bought a Denali actually the first week I made the practice squad. It was a little bit of a ambitious purchase, but
wow.
What's a Denali?
A Denali is like an SUV. It's a fancy SUV.
Oh, right. Okay, I know what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, you still have it?
Yeah, I still have it.
Okay. And now this is for Kevin. What are the NFL players' hotel room masturbation practices that you talk about? Tell us about
everyone has their own approach to jerking off before a game, you know.
Yes.
You
mean before a game, is that done by a lot of guys? They jerk off before a game?
Well, the thing is, I don't know. Like, I personally didn't like to release that prior the night before the game. I wanted to keep it loaded, you know.
Do you remember when you were a kid? I remember
even
in
boxers
junior
would
high
never
school,
do that. They would never
Right.
masturbate.
In junior high school, I remember the day before the game, the coach would say, "Okay, guys, keep your hands above the covers tonight."
What?
And of course, I didn't know what the fuck. Well, what he meant is you got tired, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I was a Catholic kid. We weren't talking masturbation. So what are some of the masturbation practices?
Well, the thing is, we in Denver, we had our own rooms on the road,
And you were a mile high, so it would come out a little different.
Yeah, it went further. It went further.
Across the room.
Yeah, Garrett would have loved that.
No, it's and we also got 2 free pay-per-view movies from the pay-per-view system, which means pornography. So most guys would at least like to take advantage of that option. Whether or not they fructified the whole process and finished the job, that was up to them. Their whole approach to the game day. I didn't like to do that, but I still watched the porn anyway.
Right. Now, what about hazing? I mean, I've always hated that, and the Miami thing was completely screwed up. It's these are big, rough guys, maybe not the brightest guys. Some of them have that kind of like, they're playing around, but they really hurt you kind of a thing. Were you hazed in a rough way when you, with the 49ers you started with?
Yeah, no, it was both places I was, San Francisco and Denver. It never got out of control with hazing at all. I mean, of course, the rookies get razzed a little bit. They have to carry guys' pads in for practice, or they have to tell us jokes or sing songs for us before a meeting during training camp to entertain us or buy food or whatever. And that's really as far as it went. Every once in a while, some guy would, have a bad mouth and think he was too cool for school, and some of the guys would tape him up or dump him in the cold tub or something like that. But it was always in jest. It never felt malicious to me. That Miami situation obviously went too far, and it's sad that it did.
Yeah.
But these are brutish guys, and they're sequestered in an all male environment. There's no women around to keep them in check. They're out on the field pounding each other all day out there, and it kind of follows them off the field. And it's hard for these guys to fall in and be normal people. But they have to eventually. The helmet comes off, they go out into the world, and you can't communicate like that.
Yeah, well, you played for a minute or two. You played for Eric Mangini, who Garrett, did he coach the Jets? Was he at the Jets for a minute? Mm-hmm. And I read that he was a disliked guy. And in your book, you really, you say you hated his guts, and he destroyed the morale of the team. What a fool! What a foolish guy! Where do you think he learned that style of coaching?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think it probably built on itself. It probably started off with him thinking that it was a good technique to motivate his players, and it started off as a trickle and ended up as, a landslide. But it was, to me, I was only there for a week, and I was only recording what I noticed, but he had mantras written up all around the facility, and he would call on guys during meetings and have them stand up in front of their chairs and recite these mantras down to the word. If you couldn't get it right, you'd be told to sit down, and you'll be called on again next week. You better get it right. And he would quiz guys on lots of arbitrary stuff. Shit.
Like what would a mantra be? What would one of his mantras be?
You must choose the pain of discipline, the pain of regret.
I wonder why he cut you. You know the fucking mantra. They shouldn't have cut you. You were.
I know, right?
You were a valuable part of it. The what now? Say that again. Let me write that. I may have to put that up around the studio. The pain of what? The pain of what?
You must choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
You must choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, Hamburger.
That's right.
Well, I make my group recite this one. There's no success in the comfort zone. You like that one?
Oh, nice.
That's a good one, yeah. Well, Nate, listen, thanks. Good luck. What do you do now? You've written a book, and do you sports announce? Do you, where do you live and all that stuff? What's going on here?
I live in L.A., and I've been just promoting the book the last several months and writing little pieces.
Are you an actor also?
No, I'm not an actor.
What? What are you doing living in L.A. if you're not an actor?
That's a good question. I don't really know.
Do you have a screenplay?
What's that?
A screenplay?
There has been a little bit of interest from Hollywood in this book, so it could turn into some moving pictures, maybe.
Okay.
Were you always a good writer or have this writing style?
No, the style was developed kind of over time. In high school, I wasn't really a writer. I was good at writing papers and whatnot, but I didn't really dive into it until probably I was 21 or 22, and it's been an evolution for sure. I've worked pretty hard at it, especially since I got cut for good. I knew it was over. I really dedicated myself to it and learned that I really loved it. The possibilities with the word and the opportunity to tell a story and take people inside a different world like that. So a lot of hard work is what it was.
Nice.
So what is the union? Did you make union minimum? What's the union minimum in the NFL?
Well, it goes up every year. Every year you're in the league, it goes up by about $80,000. And
wow.
Not only that, but it's always moving up anyway. Even the minimum for rookies moves up. When I was a rookie, I think the minimum was like $225,000. I think now the rookie minimum's like $350, $380, something like that. So, and then it goes up. Yeah, it goes up about $80,000 every year. So, my last year, I think I made $670.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. Well, look, Nate, thank you very much. Slow getting up, a story of NFL survival from the bottom of a pile. Yes, go ahead, Nate. Anything else you want to say?
No, nothing whatsoever.
All right. Okay. And so now when you go into a bar, you're just this big brute and no one does anything to you.
I mean, I've been able to live, so I wouldn't say I'm a big brute. I'm taller than the average man, but I don't stand out. People know that I played football. And I'm just a regular dude, and I like that.
You ever buy a car from John Elway?
No, I didn't. But
Oh,
the
that's a great
opportunities are there
question.
in Denver.
Oh, my God. That's a great question. Oh, my God. That's the greatest fucking question I've ever heard. Yeah, go in there and buy one. You know what I think you ought to do? You ought to sit in a Starbucks one day reading your own book and look around at these assholes that are doing nothing with their computers and, books that'll never be produced. Nothing will ever happen. And every now and again, get up and go, hey, could I have a mochaccino, please, extra hot? I'm reading my own published book. Yeah,
this is why television shows don't pick you up anymore. It's the karma,
right.
Jay.
Bad karma.
Bad karma,
right.
spreading it everywhere.
Christina, before you have pizza, do you ever masturbate before you have a big slice of pizza?
No, it's usually after.
After? Thought maybe
With the mozzarella.
On a full stomach?
Yeah,
On a full stomach.
Because I want to go right to
Garrett,
bed.
by the way, is Eric Mangini the meanest man in the world? Is he still coaching football? Is he somewhere helping
he's at
people?
ESPN.
No, he's actually
is he?
he's a consultant with the 49ers now. I don't really think he's necessarily the meanest man. I just think his practices were ineffective. It made football no fun at all. It made it.
Hey, was Shanahan? They vilified him a bit when he got canned at Washington. Did you like Shanahan as a coach? Was he? To me, he looked like a guy who was kind of all business, and you guys were part of the business, and he was getting the business. Same thing with, I think, Belichick. What kind of guy was Shanahan in your estimation?
Yeah, I mean, Shanahan, in my mind, he treated us like men. He was a classy guy. He didn't do any of that kind of bullshit that Mangini did. Of course, every coach in the NFL has a huge ego. He does his own little things that, you're not going to agree with, but he treated us well. He was straight with us. He was honest with us, and he didn't do unnecessary over-the-top shit like Mangini did.
Okay.
Who was that guy that we were talking about yesterday, Jay, that does the commercials on leaking while you're...
Tony Siragusa?
Tony Siragusa.
Oh, Tony Siragusa is now doing commercials, Nate, about your dripping penis. And you wear these Depends. I swear to God. And your Depends. Here's another story that came out. And I'm a huge Saints fan. I'm from New Orleans. But our defensive coach, who hadn't had any big, winning seasons, he's doing well now. But they say that Rob Ryan
with the long hair?
Isn't being offered any head coaching jobs because of his long hair. And the ownerships just wouldn't put up with that. What do you think of that? Something like that.
Well, I don't know. It depends on the ownership, I think. I'm sure some owners are a little more progressive than others, but by and large, the owners in the NFL are right-wing, old, white money, and so they probably are concerned about that kind of Rough Rider image. He's kind of got that motorcycle, gang feel to him.
Yeah.
But
by the way, he lives in New Orleans. He drinks. He eats. I mean, he's living the life there. I mean, it's a very small town, and no one, puts anybody down or says much about people. But he's, and by the way, Sean Payton is a player. Okay, he's divorced now. He has a great time in New Orleans. I know.
With all the Vicodin he steals out of the closets?
That's right. They pulls the Vicodin. All right. Nate Jackson's book, Slow Getting Up, the story of NFL survival from the bottom of the pile. Buy it, find it online. Nate, thanks very much. I appreciate it. It was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Anytime.
Thanks, Nate.
Okay, cool. Great guy. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Jay Thomas. The Jay Thomas Show. The afternoon drive show. Indy. Sirius XM 104. And on the Sirius XM app for smartphones.
Tomorrow morning, wake up with the Jay Thomas Show at Howard 101. Christina, who do we have on the show tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning we have another couple from Sex Sent Me to the ER.
Ooh.
Let me pull this
We had the
up here,
440-pound guy that knocked his girlfriend's head through the wall.
Yeah, this
people
couple is
we have
titled
on
Quickie in a Closet.
Yeah, but these people have been on other reality shows. That's kind of weird to me.
It is
right?
weird. I hope that you ask them about that, because I was always wondering about how if people make a career out of being just a reality star, because there are a few that you see their face regularly.
Do you ever go on that website, Christina? Looking for they're always casting, realitycasting.com or something like that.
Yeah, I just feel like you have to be kind of crazy to do. like reality shows, one that Jay was pitching, that's not crazy because you're not getting inside of somebody's lifestyle and figuring out you're not getting inside the person's lifestyle and figuring out what's wrong with them. But, these reality shows, little weirdness comes
Well,
up.
that's why they didn't pick it up. They said, oh, it isn't rough enough. And I mean, I went over to True TV and I'm sitting in a meeting with this, a very nice guy, but really a flaming gay guy. He was really funny. And there are these monitors all around the room while I'm sitting there of various shows running. And in every one of them, someone's getting kicked in the nuts. Every one of them. Or being caught on fire or whatever. And the guy looks at me and he says, do you really think you want to work here? Like that. And I said, oh, yeah, sure I do.
You can light Christina's vagina on fire if you like.
No, what he meant is, do you really want to do this? Deep down inside, if you really want to do a reality show, it stops being a reality
You
show.
have to
And it
sell
starts
your
being
soul to the devil.
It's really produced. I mean, that's what these reality shows are. It's not reality. It's, I mean,
those writers are suing. They're now suing the producers to become members of the Writers Guild.
But we mentioned that
because they are
show
writing
yesterday,
shows.
My Strange Addiction, and we watched.
Did you see her eat diapers?
We saw her eat diapers last night, and I said, "Oh, Kate, we talked about this on the radio today about the diaper, and we turned it on. We were both so disgusted with it
it's hard
that
to
we
watch.
we couldn't watch
It's hard to watch.
And we'll watch anything like that. We will, because we like things like that. We're like, this is too far. I go, this is not real. Who's fucking sniffing diapers and eating them? And the woman lets him lets her take them out of the diaper pail. So it's somebody's.
Come on.
Yes. This woman is single, and she comes over and she goes, can I have some of your daughter's diapers?
Come on.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
And the mother
know
goes,
what? Please.
It was
Stop it.
It was on TV. It was horrible.
And also at 9:30, we'll have on Molly, who is a mom who ate a 72-ounce steak in under 3 minutes.
We have a mother on that ate a 72
by like 7 minutes, too.
A woman did it a little. Is she a little? Of course, she's
skinny
tiny.
mom.
125 pounds.
Her name is Molly Schuyler.
And the day before, she ate a 12-pound sandwich with 1 pound of fries.
And when I asked her if she'd like to be on the show, she responded, "Sure, why not?"
How does she
Well,
gain weight?
what was it? Kate plus 8. They went on the Today Show.
Yes, that was this morning. Yeah,
the twins went off script. Do we have that, Garrett?
It was so
and they began to embarrass their mother.
I read about it just in the
who had
lobby
the
a little
8
while
kids
ago.
with the loser husband, and she's a professional, reality show star, But do we have that, Garrett? Do we have the Today Show where Kate and
Savannah
the
Guthrie
daughters...
asked the girls, and they had nothing to say. It was.
This is Holly Buzz.
Oh, that was
trying to get to the thing.
But she had asked them a couple of questions, on what.
Spit it out. Spit it out, Kate. Come on, baby. Do it.
And she had to jump. They said that she was so red-faced, Kate.
She didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And those kids
Is it
were
because
deer
the
in
kids
headlights.
wouldn't answer? Is that why?
They
Or
wouldn't
they
answer,
said
yeah.
Wouldn't
something?
answer, and then she was like snapping her fingers at them, going, "Come on, now's your chance."
Yeah.
Kate,
Here we go.
Kara, and Maddie Goslin are with us now. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Well, we have
Good
not
morning.
seen you or gotten to talk to you two in a long, long time. And
So
you're
what?
out because you want to let the world know that you're doing okay. Maddie, what would you want to say about how you and your sister and your family are doing?
Maddie, your words.
It's hard. It's a hard question.
Oh,
What
nasty
about you, Kara?
So this is their chance to talk. This is the most wordless I've heard them all morning.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They're gonna be
I don't want to
beaten.
speak for them, but Maddie, go ahead. Sort of the things that you said in the magazine, that years later, they're good, they're fine. Go for it, Matt.
It's your turn. No, you just said it.
You know she got cracked across the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Say, hey, we're doing okay. Why did you feel you needed to say that? Do you think people have the wrong impression of you guys, Kara?
Oh, my God.
So uncomfortable.
What Karen
Yes
is
or no?
thinking...
Al Roker should come in rolling around in front of them.
What is she thinking? Do people have the wrong impression of you?
Oh. I wouldn't say wrong. I would just say not, like, the full, like, story.
Ugh. You know, I saw them on Wife Swap because she did an episode with, what's her name? Kendra Wilkinson, but she doesn't have a husband. So when they swapped, Kendra has just this one kid and she goes out for spas all day long. And then she's got this 8 kids and they are on such an intense schedule. They have their own chickens in the backyard that they have to pull the eggs.
Kendra Wilkinson was stuck with 8 kids.
8 children, yeah, and they left Kate's best friend or something just in case of emergencies because there was no husband there. And they have like chickens in the backyard that they have to, and they're on like this really sick schedule, and they line up like they're like army troops. They're so afraid of their parents, their mother.
Well, you have to.
They're terrified of them. I'm not saying it's wrong because when you have 8 of them, I'm sure you
What about
have
the
to have some
father?
order.
Is the father part of?
I don't know. Wasn't he wearing like those? What are those stupid Hardy T-shirts or so? I don't
Is
know.
he
what happened to
remarried?
him.
Years ago.
He still wears them, no?
But isn't he remarried? Didn't he
I don't even
end up
know.
with someone else?
He was having a relationship with a younger. Yeah,
and of course they had the 8 kids because she took fertility drugs or whatever.
Kind of like Octomom.
Yeah. She does look better than she ever did, though. When she had that show, the weird haircut, and she looked like she was in her late 40s, and now, I mean, at least
So
she
do you
looks
think
better.
the children's silence was because things aren't good, or
Because
do you
things
think...
aren't good?
Yeah,
yes.
I think that things aren't good, and then it was finally, you know, they're all those TV cameras
And they're
lights
also
and,
they're
you know, they're
also
not
13. I think they were 13 or 14 years old, maybe 15.
John, how you doing?
And that is the
I'm doing
worst.
very well. So,
Hold on.
upset, that's all. So tell us, did you watch this live this morning?
Yes, I did.
What's your reaction?
I felt upset. Like, I mean, I was laying there with Liz, and we were both like, "Say something, girls! Come on, just say something, anything." And they didn't say anything, and we were just like, "Oh, this is horrible." And I felt really bad. I mean, I really didn't care too much for Kate or whatever, but I felt really bad for Maddie and Kara because I love them, and it's just like, you know, they're put in this situation. And you could tell, you know, it was
He's
like
a horrible
headlights, and I was just like, oh no. Did you not? For me, I knew it was going to be a long media day, and I was just like, this is not good. So, and it kind of just proves my point about, you know, Kate bringing the kids out instead of just doing it herself. John, there are a lot of people who are looking at this and saying these kids are not sticking to the script because they don't believe the script, that they should talk about how happy they are and whether reality TV hurt or ruined them. What's your opinion about that?
Well, if they were scripted and they believed in it, don't you think they would have said something? But I felt by body language, they're like, what's the moral thing to do and what does my mom want me to do? You know, and they were torn and they just shut down. It was just a classic case of being silent because you get to a broken point where you're like, I don't know who to please. Do I please myself or do I please my parents?
Do you think they were manipulated? Were they manipulated by Kate?
In my heart, that's what I believe. That's how I feel.
Oh.
Can I prove that? I can't prove it.
John,
he sounds.
I mean, feelings
lucid.
are,
Sounds fine.
But you don't go against it. You don't do that to the kid's mother. You know, you don't do that to the kid's mother. You got to support each other. You know, you can't be dissing the
Not in the reality world, you don't. He won't
neither
have
of them
another
can.
interview if he backs her up. Remember, he doesn't have a life or a job.
But he's still blaming Kate. You know, I mean, you know, that's just.
What is the reason that they're here for? Is it just to tell everybody that they're fine, or is there another show?
There's got to be
coming up?
Kate
What are
trying
they
to get
promoting?
something
Okay.
going. No, it's her trying to get
But is
something
it already
going.
established? Is it happening? Because I didn't read about that part of it.
No, it's just her. That's what she does now. That's what she's getting it going.
You just don't go on the Today Show unless you're promoting something. There's got to be
What,
something.
what do
in
you
the works.
think she's going to do for a living? She's qualified to do exactly what? She could, you know, work at the mall or work at a grocery store or be a secretary or whatever. And that's not, she's already tasted, you know, blood. She's tasted blood. You know, she wants to be, you know, back in the spotlight. I mean, we understand it, but it's a shitty spotlight. You know,
she needs to have some more
She
hits.
went on Dancing with the Stars. I wanted to just murder myself. It was so bad and awkward.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But it's all for you, though.
All of it.
But Christina, that's all for you.
Yeah, but I'm
producers
sad
know
to
that.
see her. I don't like to see her. I never was into her or the 8+8, whatever.
But you know all about it.
Well, yeah, because I work here and I have to. But I never watched it. It doesn't. I don't want to watch 8 brats screaming and their parents hating each other. Yeah,
you know, I have been sent this story before about this guy named David Eckert, who was stopped in, I don't know what town he was stopped in, but they gave him 3 enemas and they operated on him.
It was New Mexico, I believe.
I didn't see this one. Why did I miss that?
He had tried to stop him. I thought he had drugs on him, so they took him to the hospital and they gave him x-rays and then they put their fingers up there, didn't find anything, so then they put him out and gave him surgery twice to really dig around and shove cameras
I think
up there.
the cops had gotten a tip that he was doing something.
He was a drug mule?
And, but he didn't have anything. He was awarded $1.5 million for a 3 enema traffic stop.
Good for
3
him.
enemas.
God, I would love to have that. How much weight did he lose after that enema?
Medically unethical. It was unconstitutional.
Of course, yes.
Said his lawyer. He feels relieved, well, of course he does, he had 3 enemas, that this part is over and believes this litigation might make sure that this never happens to anyone again.
I hope it happens to me.
Failing to yield the stop sign last January. He appeared to be clutching his buttocks, police said. So they brought a dog out to sniff his ass. The dog sniffed his ass. Wow. Despite the fact, now listen to this one, the dog's license had expired in 2011.
Oh.
So they used a drug dog to sniff his ass that was no longer licensed. The dog indicated that there were drugs in the car. The police obtained a warrant for the anal cavity search.
Did they find drugs in the car?
No.
They never found
nothing.
anything.
Never.
Wow.
No. The exams were performed on Eckert at Gila Regional Medical Center, where he was taken after a first hospital refused to examine him on the grounds that the search was unethical. And so the next hospital did it. So here's what happened. His stomach was x-rayed, no narcotics were found. Then the doctors performed an exam of his anus with their fingers. No narcotics.
Well, just some lube, that's all. And a glove.
And then the doctors performed another exam on his anus with their fingers. Again, they did it twice. Then they penetrated his anus with an enema. Eckert was forced to defecate in front of doctors and police officers. Eckert watched as the doctors searched his stool. No narcotics were found.
Wonder if they found any corn.
Doctors penetrated his anus again with an enema, and again for a 3rd time, and he defecated again. And, of course, he was now dehydrated.
Yeah, of course.
And no narcotics were found. Then the doctors x-rayed him again.
What?
No narcotics. And then the doctors prepared Eckert for surgery, sedating him and performing a colonoscopy.
Oh, my God.
With a scope and a camera inserted into his anus,
I've had
his
that
rectum,
scope.
his colon, his large intestines.
For $1 million? Absolutely.
That's true.
And no narcotics were found.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Did they find any cancer?
They must have thought he was Kreskin or Houdini. Where the hell would he have hidden them? You know what? After hearing that, I need a break, Garrett. I need a break. My ass is killing me. We'll be right back.
The Jay Thomas Show. Afternoons.
They can't afford to pay you because you're so talented.
Jay Thomas
On Indy.
Sirius XM 104.
Well, let's go to Tony of Georgia. Yes, Tony, what do you want to add to the anal cavity search story?
Please.
Tony.
Yeah, the kicker to the story is the hospital gave him a bill for that. All that.
Yes, he's right.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
They gave him a bill.
Yeah, they charged him for it.
Oh, how dare they?
And
I wonder where that fits in
was
Obamacare. Where does that go in the Obamacare? Look under Velveeta, and you'll find that section there.
That's shitty.
Jesus Christ. Wow.
They did it to some other kid in Texas, I think it was. The same deal. Anal cavity search and all.
Well, they did it to Abner Lawima.
And a gay, lesbian female cop in Dallas area did two females and gave them a cavity search, and she didn't have a glove on. I read all this stuff on the internet about a month ago or so.
Well,
cops are going crazy. Cops gone wild.
Oh, that's
All right,
great.
thank
Cops
you.
gone wild.
They've gone nuts. All right, thank you very much.
Oh.
I read about a woman named Madeline Arakawa Jins, who was a visionary, and she passed away at 72 in New York.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And she built homes where the doors, she did it in Japan, she built homes where the doors would be so small out to the balcony, you would have to get on all fours to get out to the balcony.
Okay.
When you walked into the kitchen, the floor was unlevel, because she felt as though you would live forever or much longer if you lived in a house where you had to crawl around or climb upstairs that were crooked and deal with stuff.
My mother, she's so afraid of breaking her hip, she crawls from room to room now. And she's actually taking her meals with the cats.
And how old is she now, your mother?
Oh, she's 84.
Well, this woman's only 72 and she's dead. And she built those houses. So you see, what is she called?
Seniors are crawling. They're crawling all over the country these days.
Reversible Destiny Foundation homes, Garrett. She reverses destiny, except for herself.